Coming to you live from Fight Mixer Studios, it's the Bare Knuckle Insider Show. Hosted by Matthew Kohler and Britton O'Bannon, bringing you insider information on all things bare knuckle.
Pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Still claiming champion. Yeah. Still claiming champion. Hard pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Pound for pound, round for round, still claiming champion. Yeah. Still claiming champion. Undisputed.
What is up, everybody? Hi, Britton. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Great. So welcome to Bare Knuckle Insiders, everybody. I am Matthew. That is Britton, and we are your hosts. And we are the Bare Knuckle Insiders, and so are you, right?
Yes.
What do you like the tagline? Should I keep doing that?
I think you should. I think you sound so cool saying it.
Well, thank you. Nobody ever tells me I'm cool, so I appreciate that.
I don't know. I don't know if it holds any value coming from me, but
it does hold a lot of value. So, so we've got a really interesting show tonight. We've got some really cool guests. We've got a number of cool guests on the other shows coming up on Fight Mixer tonight and on Strange Pie. So definitely stay tuned for those.
yes.
But before we bring our first guest on here, let's just do a quick from the fights on Thursday, from Fight Night, BKFC Fight Night. Any thoughts or opinions that you feel need to be voiced?
I don't know if they need to be voiced, but I mean, how many fights was it? I think it was just 2, but I was just overwhelmed, like with the getting in there, knocking somebody out, and going home. I was like, all right, well, that fight's over.
It happens. It does happen in Bare Knuckle, though. I mean, it's pretty wild. Hi, Janine, and hi, Tiffany, and hi, Carter, and everybody in the chat. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We love y'all. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you know, Matt, but you know, Carter's my son, the one that was in the comments.
Of course I know that.
I didn't know. A lot of people say Carter O'Bannon, and then when Carter Wade comments, they're like, "Who's that?"
Hi, Brittany. But yeah, no, Carter's great. We need to get him to work here soon.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting event. I mean, obviously the main event, the heavyweight title fight, or not title fight rather, but heavyweight fight. That was the main event. Was super interesting. And Frank Tate, he just caught him. He caught him. And we haven't seen that happen to Joey Beltran yet, but we all know it can happen, and it does happen to the best. And so congratulations to Frank. Frank, if I don't know if you watch our show, but if you happen to come across this, we'd love to have you on sometime. But yeah, great performance. Congratulations to Frank. And here we go with our first guest of the evening, maybe. And there he is, the man, Sam, the Hillbilly Hammer. Shewmaker, what's going on, man?
Hey, everyone. Oh, not much. How you all doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So what were your thoughts? I mean, you saw the highlights, I'm sure, of Joey getting cracked pretty good.
Yeah,
did we lose him?
Frank had to do. Joey got caught. And it can happen to the best of us.
It definitely can, and that's the thing. And as you know, I mean, bare knuckle, we all know at this point that, I mean, especially with heavyweights, it really only takes one shot, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be a good shot if it's timed right and hits you in the right spot. I mean, it's just, big, powerful people, it can happen. So it does happen.
Brittany, hush. I actually get to talk to Sam. Shh. Go away.
Yes. And I don't know. Have you ever met Britton?
I see that comment.
No, I've never met him. And I promise you, I've never met him because I wasn't at the fight that he knocked my husband out. So I didn't get to meet him in person. So I was like super excited about the show tonight. Like I was telling my best friend on the way over here, I'm like, Sam Shewmaker's going to be on. I'm super excited because I've never met you in person. So I'm excited.
Well, it's very nice to meet you for sure.
You too.
It's funny because the first time I met you, Britton, it was not long after Bobo's fight with Sam, and you told me that anytime, I think it's KB, your daughter, anytime Bobo was giving you any problems, she said she was going to call the Hillbilly Hammer. Is that correct?
She would say, Daddy, do you want me to get the hammer? And I'm like, and the first time she did it, I had told him while he was at work. And so the first time she did it, he just looked at me and I was like, what? I don't know where she heard that from. I have no idea. So even like way later, we'd be laying in bed and I'd be like, baby, can you give me something to drink? And he's like, give me a minute. I'm like, go now or I get the hammer, whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's a joke at our house and I love it.
Oh, it's so funny.
I feel as if I'm not giving them a hard time, if your spouse can't give you a hard time, who's going to? So
right,
exactly.
Right. Nope, I agree.
Exactly. And Brittany Carino's in the comments, and she likes to tease me, and that's fine. We love Brittany.
We do.
But she said she's always on me about dropping your name, and I'm like, it's kind of my job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. Come on now. She's got to understand that.
I mean, that's so, of course, and I tell Brittany all the time, of course, I'm going to plug Sam and say his name anytime that I have an opportunity to do it. And if you don't like it, you can get out. No, I'm just kidding. Don't leave. We love you.
Don't leave Brittany. Don't. He's just
Brittany does have a question. When do you expect to be coming back to BKFC?
Very soon. We have fight news coming. We have some of the details. We're just waiting on contracts and things like that. So yeah, you'll be hearing real soon some fight news from us.
So are you just like itching? You just ready?
Yeah. It's just been it's been a long road. We had 2 losses in a row. My wife had the fight of her life, and it's just things are starting to get back to normal. We're getting the flow of things. Everyone's doing well. Everyone's healthy. Thank God. My
awesome.
wife's cancer's in remission. So yeah, we're feeling good and excited to get back. And we've been watching all the fights and just miss being in there. We're missing being at the shows and can't wait to get back.
Absolutely. Well, I know I personally can't wait to see you back in there, and I know that a lot of people agree with that. So I had one thing that I wanted to just chat with you about, and I don't think maybe you've been asked this before, but so obviously bare knuckle is still a pretty new sport, right? And really, by all accounts, you were the first breakout star in the sport. And I mean, after BKFC won, you had a viral moment, huge knockout on Eric Prindle. Everybody knows the story. And then, not only that, but the Vice episode did a big feature on you. And I mean, BKFC gave you a lot of attention right out of the gate, with the punch meter thing, all of those things. And so I know you, and obviously we've known each other a long time, and we're from basically the middle of nowhere, and people where we're from don't really get that kind of recognition typically. How did that affect you? Like all of that happened at once, like psychologically, emotionally. What did that feel like when it like in the moment?
I mean, it was an amazing feeling, to come in and be a part of history and ushering in the new sport and getting a phenomenal KO the night of the first event against a true warrior, Eric Prindle. He's very well decorated Army champion and a Bellator heavyweight champion, and just I don't know, it's just great to be a part of history. And then coming back home and feeling all the love and support from all the locals in the area. It's just been amazing. And, in the moment, it was like a dream come true. Someone who's always wanted to play a sport professionally and just compete no matter what we were doing growing up. And then, finally be able to be on the big stage and perform like, we needed to. So it was awesome.
So you get the attention, you get the the recognition, and that part is all fun, and everybody celebrates you. Do you feel, hey, what's up, Misfits in the comments? How you doing, Misfit? Love you, champ. But do you feel like there was, I mean, was there any sense or like feeling of pressure after that big, coming straight out of the gate with a huge knockout like that, and then getting all the attention right out of the gate? Was there like, did you feel any pressure? And I've never asked you this. You and I have never discussed this personally, but did you feel like, was there a certain level of pressure to perform, or did you feel any pressure from the fame that you were getting? Because I know it was all brand new. What can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, definitely pressure. When you come off a performance like that in front of thousands, and then eventually millions of people viewing it on YouTube and stuff, and having to try to go out there and do the same thing again. And the next opponent was Maurice Jackson. He was a K1 fighter, hadn't lost very many fights, was a title holder in that. And yeah, it's just one of those things that you try to live up to. And, of course, everyone always wants to get that big knockout on TV. And,
Yep.
But sometimes, you end up being the guy getting knocked out. That's just kind of part of getting out there and throwing bombs and, entertaining people. That's part of the entertainment business. That's what we are. We're entertainers. So,
Absolutely.
It was a lot of pressure, and it's still, when could I ever, perform like that, as far as in a moment, the first BKFC, the historic event, I don't know if I'll ever match that, with all the circumstances and everything of that night. So,
Yeah,
definitely was pressure, and still sometimes do feel pressure from it, for sure.
I can't even imagine. And, and it was awesome. And of course, I'm sure you wouldn't change it in a million years.
Right.
But and after that, though, I mean, Maurice Jackson, even Arnold Adams, were giving you a lot of room, and they did not want, everyone, you were so well known for that big, powerful right hand. And Maurice Jackson, I mean, I was there, I was live. He, and no disrespect to Maurice, because I would run from you too, but he ran that entire fight and just basically refused to engage. And then AJ danced a lot, and he was on our show a couple weeks ago and talked about that, because he has changed his style, and he did say that that he feels like he gave you too much respect in the first fight, when when you guys fought for the title. And he said, he's like, look, he was coming. It wasn't long before our fight that he had that big KO on Eric Prindle. He's like, I'm not going to be part of that guy's highlight reel,
Right,
and he's
right.
like, but he said he feels like he gave you too much respect and whatever. But I would give you as much respect as possible. I would never get in there with you. Just, I mean, they'd have to pay me a hell of a lot of money, but but yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you feel like that's changed at all? The dynamic of your opponents since those first handful of fights?
I think it just depends. It depends on who you're fighting and what they want to do. Some of them want to come in and just bang, and some of them, they're a little skittish at first. Which everyone in the heavyweight division, you get hit by them, they can knock you out. I mean, that's basically it. Some of us just have more power than others. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like Arnold Adams, I hope him and I eventually, run into each other again down the road. I'd love to have that fight back, with him, and I think it would end differently. I think both of us in the first fight, the bare knuckle was new. We were in a title fight, first one for both of us. I mean, it was crazy. So yeah, I think we both possibly would go in the next time and have a little bit more fun and bang it out a little bit harder, for sure.
I would love to see it. I really would, and I think that's a good. I think that's a good fight. That, and I really hope that happens at some point. But yeah, man. So what else has been going on in life for you? What have you been up to? We haven't seen you on doing any interviews or anything for a minute, so you got to catch us up a little bit.
Just head down, working hard, living life, married, and with the 3 boys, they all have baseball right now, and they all play on 2 different teams. So there's 6 teams right now that we're going back and forth from practices and games and stuff. And I try to make as much time as I can between sessions to be there for them. So just, living the dad life and training and, trying to do and be at 2 or 3 different places at once. It's awesome.
Oh man.
But I'm blessed. I love it.
I feel that. Yeah, we've got the activities and all that stuff right now too. So, all right, I have a terrible habit of talking too much, so I'm going to shut up for a minute and hand it over to Britton, because I know you got tons of things. I'm sure that you want to say.
I just where did. But yeah, real quick, Matthew, you do talk a lot, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. It is always good. It's always good though. But so how did you even get into fighting?
When I was 17, my uncle started a amateur boxing gym right down the road from my house, and my cousin was a fighter, so he invited me up and said, "Hey, come on up. I think you do good." So I started amateur boxing at 17, fought for quite a few years, and then ended up stepping away from a while for a while. Got married, had boys, and then kind of fell right back into it. After we had everything settled, and the boys were a couple years old, and we felt like it was okay to train and get back to work and do everything as far as that goes, hitting that road. So,
well, my sister's in the comments here, and she said mentioned Rabbit Lane was where you got into fighting, but
that's funny. I don't think I actually ever had a fight at Rabbit Lane. It was an old road that people in school would meet up, in afterwards. I know I did go and watch a few and referee a couple, but I was never involved in.
I never was either. I never got down at Rabbit Lane, but that was the spot though. I mean, if you're going to throw down after school, you're going to Rabbit Lane straight up, right?
Yep.
That's funny. I haven't thought about Rabbit Lane in years. Anyway,
That's
good
funny.
one, Tiff. All right, go ahead, Britton.
So also, how did your nickname come about? Like, was that something that somebody else gave you? Like, how did that happen?
My brother Jim came up with it because they want you to have a nickname coming in and being an entertainer as far as the bare knuckle side of it. And so we grew up as stonemasons and constantly was swinging axes and sledgehammers and stuff. And so I was always really good at swinging a sledgehammer. So they call it, we're from the Lake of the Ozarks, the Ozarks here in Missouri. So we are a little bit on the hillbilly side. So the hillbilly hammer just kind of stuck when he came up with it. So I loved it.
It's a great name. I had to rock the shirt since you're coming on tonight. So.
I see that. Looks good on you. Hell yeah.
Well, I can go ahead and tell you I'm going to need the link, because if you're going to be fighting anytime soon, my son's going to be driving me insane to get a shirt. So Matt,
I got you.
Need the link.
Yeah. I got you. I've got stock.
I bet you do.
We've got some shirts, so we'll hook you up, Britton.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to know, because I've heard the hammer before, obviously, but that I love the story behind it. It's just not something that you just, grabbed and ran with. Like, I like the story behind it. That was pretty cool. And you said you have 3.
Promise.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I seen you hit my husband. You earned it. You're fine. So, so you have 3 boys?
Yes, I have 3 boys. Mm-hmm.
How old are they?
13, 12, and 10.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. We stacked them in there. It's great. I love it though. It's awesome. They're best friends, and then they're worst critics at the same time. They really push each other in sports and just in life, and they enjoy each other most of the time. So you know how that goes. So boys will be boys, but we love it. We love having them so close.
Oh, I bet it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's entertaining. I'll say that.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Now we've got people in the comments that are asking about the link. Where's the link that we can buy the Hillbilly Hammer shirts? Well, I tell you what, let's have a conversation after the show. We'll see if we can get something up on the Fight Mixer website, and you can probably order them directly from there. I think that would be a good thing to put on there. Just we want to keep them just like this, right? You like? Yeah. Still liking that one? All right, cool. So we're making deals right now, live.
Wheeling.
Oh, hey, Coach. I'm sorry, both coaches in the comments, and I love him. He's wonderful.
So we've got Jason Williams in the comments from Boxer Tricks, and so talk about that, Britton, just really quickly, because that's a unique thing that works for Bobo. And tell Sam about that. I don't know if Sam knows that story.
I don't know. Like, okay, so now don't take this the wrong way, okay? Because you're awesome. But when my husband went to fight you, I'm just going to start at the very beginning. When he went to fight you, before he even left, I was like, you probably shouldn't go to this fight. Okay, I'm not rude, but I'm one of those people. I will tell he knows I'll tell him the truth, no matter if it hurts his feelings, if he asks for it. But he didn't ask for it this time. But I told him, I was like, Sam is about to knock you out. You don't need to be fighting right now. He hadn't. I mean, no, no. I'm just gonna stop there. He did not need to be fighting. I'm not saying that he would have beat you by no means. Please don't take it like that. But
No, you're fine.
I'm just saying, like. Yeah. So anyways, he went to the fight. And of course, we all know what happened. Like, he came back home and I was just looking at him. I told him good night. I just literally looked at him and said, are you okay? He's like, yeah, good night. I went to bed. And then he came in there and he should not have asked what was I thinking, because then he had like a 2-hour conversation and me fussing at him, like, you're stupid. You don't get in there with Sam Shewmaker when you don't know what you're doing at the moment. So anyway. So then Jason comes along after the Arnold Adams fight, and Jason knows this, but I was like, are you crazy? This guy has messaged you on Facebook wanting to train you on FaceTime. Have you lost your mind? Like, I don't think FaceTime's helping you, buddy. Like, we need somebody in person. And it was literally to the point I was like, okay, it's time to stop. It's just time to stop because it's not working. Well, then Jason started training him. And I don't know if you've seen any, now he did just get knocked out with Alan Belcher, which I told him not to take that fight either because he had COVID. But 2 weeks prior, two weeks prior, don't come after me. But anyways, he just doesn't listen. So anyways, and I'm not making excuses for his losses either. Sometimes he just got knocked out. But so anyway, Jason comes along and he starts training Bo, and I don't know if you've noticed, but he has turned into a totally different fighter. And
looking good.
Jason, yes, he looks great. And Jason is in Wales. He's not as fat anymore either, so that helps. But Jason is all the way in Wales, and Jason trains him and he corners him over his headset. We have aftershocks and he wears them. So when Bo comes to the corner, he don't even get to look at Jason. He just literally gets to talk to Jason. And it's like a delay, obviously. So sometimes, like his corner's trying to tell him, and it's like should have been used, a couple minutes ago. But so Jason does everything through FaceTime, everything through like the headset at the fight. And he doesn't even get to FaceTime him at the fights. He only gets to talk to him through the headset. So anyways, Jason has been a lifesaver. Like, I absolutely love him. I can call him and tell him that Bo's not doing what he's supposed to be doing around the house. Like, he's not picking up after himself, leaving socks on the floor. And Jason puts some little extra exercises for him and all. So Jason's wonderful. He's wonderful.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I just think it's an interesting concept.
It
for a guy like Bobo that works his butt off and, all hours of the day, and then comes home and does the dad and the husband thing, and then, has to fit training. And you guys live kind of in the middle of nowhere, as I understand. And so
yes,
there's
like,
not a whole lot of,
nothing
good options. So, but that's what Bobo does. And so, guys, if you're a fighter, check out Jason Williams at Boxer Tricks. And I think he's got a pretty good a program here. Dickman Dickelheimer. What's going on, man? We haven't seen you for a while. How you doing?
This is great.
The Dickelheimers are a well-respected family of bare knuckle fighters going on generations. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Well,
That's
whatever.
Great.
Thanks, Dickman. But yeah, and Tiffany, you already have one, don't you? If you don't, I'll hook you up. My sister's asking for a shirt.
I
but yeah,
think she's asking because she said just the husband that leaves socks on the floor. I'm sure Jason
one of those
husbands.
She's not talking about the shirt. She's talking about the husband that works his butt off and then, trains and all that stuff. You know what? Don't be talking about my brother-in-law like that, Tiffany.
And another thing, that's why Bo's not in the comments, because he was super excited about you and Joe being on, and he just had to drive an hour and a half, just to get some kitchen cabinet hinges to finish up at our new house, and so he's not going to be on. But as Matthew was saying just a minute ago, he works hard. I can't even tell you, he hasn't got maybe 5 hours of sleep this past week, because he has to work. Then he comes home, works on the new house, then he trains, and he's just anyway. So, but y'all remind me so much of each other, especially after talking to Matthew. Y'all both just seem like good old, I don't know,
for sure.
family
I
men,
definitely
and
relate. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I have so much respect for y'all both, because
Thank you.
that I know it's hard, especially after I heard about your wife, and we were praying for her and praying for you, and it takes a strong man to stand beside somebody like that. So I just want to let you know that I think the world of you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
And so do I.
Yes, we know, Matt. We know.
Well, but we got Joe Elmore on next. And if Joe's in the green room, bring him on, and we'll just have a little party here. But yeah. So hopefully we'll have some fight news soon, right? We're waiting.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm waiting. I'm ready.
It's coming, and we can't wait to make the announcement, and it's going to be awesome. Joe isn't on yet. We do want Joe, but
can I ask one of my crazy questions?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you've been watching the show. Hopefully you have, but we want to get to know the fighter a little bit more than just the fighting. So
yeah,
I always ask Bo, because believe it or not, Bo's out there. He's out there, and he just thinks of random crazy stuff. So I asked him, I'm like, what should I do for Sam and Joe? And he only had one question this time. But if you could be any superhero, who would you be and why?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Any superhero? That's a hard question. That really is. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Superman, I would think.
Superman?
Good answer.
Yeah, I would think so. Dude,
People hate on
badass.
Superman.
He can fly. I can cut stuff up with my laser eyeballs. Huh? Come on now.
Yeah, he's cool. But see, I'm a Batman. Like, I even have Batman shirts still. Like, yeah, I am like obsessed with Batman.
I like Batman, but he can die. Batman.
I know.
He's just a rich guy with cool
but
tools.
I also now, since I've gotten older and have more health issues, I kind of want to be Iron Man, so I can just like switch stuff out when I need to.
That's fascinating.
I like that.
Yeah. The superhero. So Superman is like the template for all superheroes that ever existed. He's the standard. And
he is awesome.
And some people hate on Superman. I feel like people hate on Superman too much because they're like, oh, he's just too powerful. It's just like, and he's awesome. Like,
yeah.
I'm a huge Superman fan. I have been my whole life. He's definitely my favorite. But so as far as the superhero question, other than Superman, is there anybody other than Superman? That's obviously your DC selection. Who's your Marvel? If you could be a Marvel person.
I don't know. Wolverine's pretty badass.
He is. He really is. He really is.
Oh
badass.
yeah.
I got to go with Thor though. I mean,
Thor,
I love Thor, and I think that Thor's one of those interesting characters that, like, he sometimes doesn't fully realize his power, and he really is very powerful, but he just doesn't realize it. But funny story, and I'm going on a tangent, but so my dad used to criticize Superman. He thought not the character, but the depiction of Superman, and he's like, it's just his strength is always so inconsistent. He's like, on one end, like, on some of the older movies and TV shows, like, he would like pick up a building and go fly off with it, and then act like it was like heavy to pick up a car, and so, but I don't know. I think that, it's movies. I mean, you got to make it entertaining. So
yeah.
So what's been your favorite fight that you've seen recently?
I really liked the Britain Hart fight with Christine. I really did. I thought Christine really laid it out there, and it was just a good one that went all the way. I like the fact that they went the distance and really, showed what they were worth, and it was a good fight from both parties on that one. Of course, Christine dominated and did really well and defended the title. So, but I'd say that's probably my favorite one recently. I did watch the fights the other night. There were some good ones then. But...
Yeah. So, also, did you happen to catch the viral video now? Do you guys want to talk about this viral video of Taylor Starling in the street, straight up trying to steal Christine's belt?
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
I saw it. Yeah. I think it's just part of trying to sell the show. I understand. I mean, some people do it differently. So
they definitely do. It's pretty wild, though. I mean, it's got a ton of views. And what's up, Matt?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
What do you got going on, my friend? Well, nothing apparently. Oh Lord, what's up? We got Misfit and Jules hanging out.
Super
in the hot tub.
jealous.
What are y'all doing? So you got anything for Mr. Hillbilly Hammer here? He's not listening. How are you going to jump on my show without anything to say?
Joe had recently said that he'll see us in about 2 minutes, so hopefully he'll be coming on soon.
Cool. So, Matt, can you even hear us?
I don't think he can.
Well,
no.
See you later, Matt.
So, can I ask another random question?
Ask whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you are a fighter, but could you pick another, like, do you fanboy over another fighter? Not fanboy. My husband fanboys, but yeah.
I mean, I definitely love watching some other fighters for sure. I love watching Joe Diesel Riggs fight. I mean, and I've met the guy and been around him, and he's a super nice guy. And I love watching him go to war. It's always entertaining. He doesn't back up much, and he goes out and really gets after it. So
that's awesome.
He does. Well, there's another guy that goes out and really gets after it. We got the Hitman. What's up, Joe?
Man, what's going on, y'all?
How are you?
Man, doing good. Looking forward to a return.
Yeah? When's that happening, my man?
Soon as we finish this contract up, I got my money that I've been asking for. And so we met where I asked for the money, but just a little open, there's some things I don't agree with, like digital ownerships and NFTs that we got to work out exclusive ownership, because I've built the brand and ownership of Hitman 1X7 and different things like that. I'm not for what we've negotiated on. As soon as we get done with that, man, I'm ready to go. And it looks like we're already building a big main event for them that they were wanting for London anyway. So I'm down with that.
Oh boy.
I'm not fighting for the title. Only other person really I want to fight is Connor Tierney anyway. And I want to knock him out and end his hype. And,
Okay.
Well, that's going to be fun to watch.
So you're looking at London. Is that what you said?
That's the rumor that I'm hearing that they're asking me. My contract's a 3-fight deal, so I'm fighting whoever the hell they put in front of me in that little squared circle, but yeah, the rumor is that they've been wanting it done, that they're trying to rush me to get my contract done so I can get there and get swole on them in London and break a brittle Brit.
Brittle Brit. All right. So I've heard some rumors and from sources who will remain anonymous that this London card might be turning out to be pretty badass.
I've heard the same.
I mean, if they're talking about putting me on it, I agree.
Dude, it's been forever. It's been forever. It's been too long. And here a while back, after one of the events, I made a comment that I made a post talking about how, like, I kept seeing you in the commercials. I don't know if you remember when I did that, but I'm like, I keep seeing Joe Elmore in these commercials. Like, why don't we get to see the Hitman? Like it's been too damn long. And then, and lo and behold, David Feldman comments on my post and says, soon, my man, very soon.
Oh man, they wanted me here. I'll go ahead and be honest. 5 days before I fought Leonard Garcia, nobody knows this, but I had to get 7 cortisol shots. I had 100% tear on my subscapula. I couldn't rotate my left hook or my jab. I had to throw my jab like this. If you go back and look, I was hitting like this with my jab or doing this with it because I couldn't rotate. And I had a shoulder surgery And we kept it on the down low. And thanks for David Feldman, for keeping me relevant, keeping those highlights going, just so it would come back. But yeah, man, now we come back, and I'm a badder motherfucker than I ever was, and I can't wait, dude.
I love this guy.
I know.
Dude,
I'm so excited.
Like Joe, you're just like, I love your energy, man. I mean, you're a very intense guy. And even when I've hung out with you, you keep that same, like, you're kind of just amped up all the time, aren't you?
Man, I was born this fucking way, dude. Like I said, I would tell people I'd get dropped off at gymnastics. I'd leave gymnastics and go to karate. And I couldn't figure out why my parents was willing to spend so much damn money on me for martial arts and sports. And I realize now if they'd have kept me in that house, everything would have been broken. That get me out and like some other shit.
Poor Maggie. Poor Maggie.
Sam, I think you can probably relate to that. You had a pretty rowdy bunch that you lived with all your brothers and everybody.
Oh yeah, 5 boys and 2 girls. We got after it. It was awesome.
And the girls are, I'm just going to tell you, the girls are every bit as tough as the guys. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah,
my mom had 7 sisters. They're tougher. Yeah. Shit.
Oh Lord. So it's been a while since we've seen you, and so that's a lot of that is because of the injury and recovering.
I took off, because I had the cortisol shots. They eat at you for 6 months, 3 to 6 months. So I had to wait 4 months to even get the surgery, because literally, man, I couldn't even lift my arm above my head the day before. And I had a friend who did some therapy and a chiropractor that popped my shoulder back in. I had popped it out of socket, and it was, and they got me all fixed up. But so I had to wait 4 months to get the surgery. I'm like 8 or 9 months into recovery now. And I've been back training for about 3 or 4 months, and God, it's vicious, dude. I'm in there. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but thank God they let me come in. But there's a few guys getting ready for BKFC in Atlanta and around. And man, I've been dropping guys with body shots, knocking them out with my left hook again. It's so damn tight. And my boxing is better than it ever was. And now I can fight orthodox and southpaw, because don't think I sit on my ass. I was in my sling, and I went and sparred like a fucking southpaw in a sling for shoulder surgery. I couldn't move my arm, but I stayed at the gym and I worked things and focused and concentrated. And that way, when I came back, it would be, I was in school the whole time getting ready. I was never away. That's why I kept showing up to events. And yeah, now I'm just excited to be able to do it again. So
we're excited.
We can't wait to see you.
Yes. Yeah. These 2 guys are 2 of my favorite guys to watch. 2 of my favorite fighters to watch.
Absolutely.
Because
originals too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask you guys both something. And we talked to Quentin Henry about this last week, but what does it feel like when you have long layoffs, like as a fighter, and you have a long layoff, you really want to be in there, whether it's injury or whether it's just getting shelved by the promotion or whatever the case may be. How does that affect you as a human being, psychologically, emotionally, all of that? Like, what does that do to a person? And what are your thoughts during that time period? And how do you deal with it?
Damn, you go ahead, man.
Sometimes honestly, layoffs can be good for you a little bit, as far as just recovering from a physical injury or mental issues, whatever it might be. But sometimes it's not good either, because you can have all that pent up aggression and wanting to get out there and make some money and entertain. That's what we are. We're entertainers. We're athletes, professional athletes. So it goes both ways. It just depends on the situation. I definitely have felt both of those before, as far as like being anxious and wanting to hurry up and get back in there, or just being fine with taking a little time off, recovering and getting my shit straight, whether it's my body or my life, either one.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like when I was younger and I was taken off, I had to have knee surgery whenever I was in MMA, and I was so depressed, man. I'd get to red lights, and I swear people would honk at me, pissed off, flipping me off, thinking I was on my cell phone, but I wasn't. I would just be staring, and I would go from staring at the red light to staring off in space, like thinking, am I getting old? Can I do this? Is my career here? But that was the immaturity of it, man. Like, this time, whenever I had my shoulder surgery, the guy that did my shoulder surgery from Emory Hospital, he did a Julio Jones foot surgery. He did Greg Maddox's Tommy John surgery on his. So I knew that this guy wasn't getting old people to walk. I had a surgeon that was amazing. My therapy, I got sponsored on my therapies. I got opportunity to fly to Columbia. I turned that down, but they were going to give me stem cells and fly me to Columbia. I went with more of a Orthodox American study here, but I took care of it. And plus my wife, we've been together 12 years. She's my manager. She's in my corner. Here at the house, she's my support system. She knows that my dreams are here. So for me, this time, it was really a chance to spend time with my family, focus on my business. Like he said, I really got things settled. I stayed so relevant. I was training Martina Kroll to be a boxer more and get rid of
awesome,
little
by the
bad
way.
Yeah, she's a monster, man. So I was doing one-handed hand pads. Like I was in a sling, but I don't sit still. I'm a country boy, man. I've been tilling gardens and running hard work with broken foots and hands. And my papa, he'd have a bone ache sticking out. He'd tape his leg up and finish his chores and then take care of it. So I guess that's where I fight like I do too, man. I just don't quit. We signed up to get something until the job's done or I'm dead. We just got to get it done. And I do that. I do life like that. So it ain't nothing for me to sit around. I entertain myself. You see how much I talk and get energetic I am.
Well, that's awesome. So, and I like that. I like to hear those perspectives because I think that's a side of the story that you don't always hear. Is, you hear from people when there's a big buildup to a fight or, before and after a fight, talking about, how, this and that. But people don't really talk about the other part of it, and it really does affect people, whether good, whether bad. But you guys are still human beings, and I mean, this is your life and it affects you.
I miss the adrenaline. I ain't gonna lie about that though, boy.
Yeah.
I took off skydiving. I promised my wife I quit doing that 2 years ago to focus on fighting, and I ain't done either. I do miss crushing somebody's face, and I ain't lying, man. I've been making these highlight videos the past couple of days, and I'm getting sweaty, boy. I'm ready to go.
And Misfits in the comments, Christine says she's not human. She also just made another comment. She said that Britton looks beautiful, but Matthew needs to shave. And
can I add something here?
Yeah,
I got Harry and Harriet, so I'm good. I don't have to shave. Thank you.
Go. Well, let me tell you something. So there was a point in time when I attempted to trim my own beard, and I screwed it up so badly that I pretty much had to buzz the whole thing down. So, and then I had to do family pictures after that. And as you can see, I've got a bald head. And when I'm a ginger, so I have these white eyebrows, right? And so literally I look like an alien or, like or something. Like if I don't have facial hair, I look so stinking weird. So Misfit, I love you, but I ain't shaving. And
gotta have hair somewhere, baby.
Nobody would want to hang out with me, I promise. Like I look so odd with no hair anywhere. I mean, I look like I don't know. I don't even want to just.
Yeah, I like the hat on. The hat looks nice on you.
Yeah,
I have a little beard envy. I've never had to turn down a sponsorship, but I got a beard company to hit me up and asked me if I wanted a beard sponsorship, and I told them that my bearded friends would kick my ass, and that'd be the only time I ever lose a fight. And I was like, this thing looks like Abe Lincoln had an Amish baby if I grow it out. I was saying.
So go ahead, Matthew.
Nope. Ladies first.
I have to ask Joe the same question. Joe, I always ask these weird questions on here, and Bobo always helps me with them. So I have to ask you, if you could be any superhero, who would you be and why?
Oh, that's easy. I'm Deadpool and Wolverine on everything. I wore Deadpool socks under my suit when I got married because I can take punishment and I heal pretty fast. And of course, I love chimichangas. So Deadpool, no matter what you do, I come out there and broken arm, head sideways. I'm gonna stick my bone through your face, but you ain't gonna kill me. So I'm Deadpool.
So Deadpool, all right.
Yeah, I got a sick, twisted sense of humor too, and he's a superhero-ish kind of guy. And I'm really kind, and I'll save you, and I only kill the bad guys, but I definitely don't mind smashing the bad guys.
Nice.
Oh, that's
I love it.
That's good.
Well, hey, I appreciate y'all having me on, but I gotta go.
All right, Sam.
Oh,
hey,
man.
thank you for jumping on. We appreciate your
See you,
time.
Sam. I can't wait to see you fight again, bro.
Oh, it's coming soon, brother. I appreciate it.
Can't wait.
All right,
All
take
right,
care,
guys.
man.
Bye.
Have a good night.
See you guys.
He is really cool.
I told you.
I've never gotten to meet Sam in person. I've hung out with Joe many times, Joe and his wife, and they're awesome. I love them. They know that, but I've never gotten to meet Sam. So love you. Anyway,
It's funny how you meet people that that you haven't met, but you've seen on TV or you've watched their
Yeah.
fights or whatever, and then you get the opportunity to talk to them, and you're like, wow, they're just really a real person. And I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but I always seem to be surprised that like they're maybe a little different than when you actually take the time to have a conversation with somebody. Maybe a little different than what I
Yeah.
thought they might be. Have you guys ever experienced
I
that?
look for that. Whenever I attach myself, like I don't see superstars unless, like that's why I like Bobo. That's why me and him become good friends, because he's about taking care of his family first. And all my sponsors, man, I made more money in sponsorships than I've ever made fighting. They'll double my paycheck sometimes, and it's because the ones that have been with me forever. I've never got since I started fighting pro MMA. Their sponsors have been with me for 10 years. That sponsor me every single fight. I get a new one every fight, but still the same old ones do. And the reason that every one of them's told me they've done it is they look online and they feel safe with me representing them. They love how I love my wife. They love how I take care of my kids. They love how I talk shit, but I'm never disrespecting my son anyway, not my kids, but my nephew, nieces, my son, my family. And yeah, man, so it's important to me, man. I'm not attaching to nobody. I don't care how talented they are and what they do if they ain't some kind of human outside of there. It's nice to be able to see it. That's why I love doing these things, so people can see it, and that way when they come up to us at the fights, they're willing to say, hey, can we take pictures with you? And they don't feel like I'm some guy sitting in the back the whole time just waiting to have a superstar moment and fight.
Yeah. Has there been anybody that you've been particularly surprised by, when you've met them, that they were like just really a lot different than you thought they would be?
No, I mean, there's always a surprise. Everybody's always interesting, and we put on a show, and there's unique things everybody will learn about me. I mean, I'm as real as I am online. You just don't show everything in your life, or a sense of humor that you can't see. So, yeah, I'm always surprised, but I love meeting people. I don't meet strangers. You ain't met nobody in BKFC. I know everybody that hates everybody, but I love Christina I love the Killer Bee. I love Britain Hart. And I know that they're all like fighting each other, and I love them, and I'm fans of them, and even the guys I fight, hell, me and Tom have argued online, but I'd go to his birthday party. Like I ain't got nothing against these people. They're my family, and the only reason we got fans is because of each other. So I stick to that side of it.
I agree with that, and I think that's a big reason for me that I kind of stepped out of, or not stepped out, but like scaled back in the management role, because my partners and I at one time were managing a ton of fighters, and I'm like, and so it's really hard because I like to be friends with everybody. And like it's really hard to be friends with an opponent of one of my clients,
Yeah, the boys get butthurt sometimes.
I know. And so so that's why, I'd rather, of course I'll work with Sam as long as he wants to keep me, and he and I have known each other for, good Lord, longer than I'd like to admit. I don't want to show my age too much, but so I'll work with Sam, but because he's my friend. But other than that, like, I don't know that I want to manage fighters anymore. I like it, but I also really just enjoy being friends with everybody. And so, and I think that I enjoy that more. And so now I do this, and and I get to, so we're friends with everybody, and that's what this show is. So we're the insiders. You're an insider. Britain's an insider. Everybody watching here gets some inside knowledge on what goes through your mind as a person, as a fighter, all those things. So I think it's cool, and I'm having fun with it. But we're getting ready to wrap up the show here in just the next few minutes. But and I'm sure you can't talk about an opponent yet. But
me and Connor Terry been trying to fight. If we go to London, me and him would be the event.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be me and Connor Terry. It's all over. That's why I made the video of him getting knocked out. And they came on and said he had called me out on some post and said that I'm the true king of Battle Knuckle here. And I said, well, I'm the hitman and I assassinate kings. And I sit down beside a king and I give the kingdom back to the people because I killed the king. So come on over here, king, because I've watched him get dropped by a left hook. And man, let me tell you something. I don't disagree. No disrespect. That is one talented, pretty good-looking, handsome young man. Boy, looks like a little superstar guy. He could probably underwear model and all kinds of shit. And he's a pure boxer. His technique is gorgeous, straight 1-2s, and he's long. But I'm fucking vicious, and you can't do nothing about that. So I can't wait. He's a superstar over there, and he's the BKB king, and he's gonna come over here and do all this shit. Well. Come on, baby. Be careful what you ask for because I'm going to feed you.
I cannot wait. I really hope this happens. I cannot wait.
You get us excited pretty quick because
I'm excited. I love this shit, man. I really do. I ain't scared of shit, and I love it. And I've been waiting. I've been sitting around for a fucking year. And that title, God, I love Burrito. He's my friend, but I want that title, dude. I'm finna go eat Connor Tyranny for breakfast, and then I'm gonna come give Burrito a big, God, and I'm gonna hug him and love him because his family's beautiful and I love them. That's gonna be the hardest thing I ever did. But God damn it, I want that 165 title, and I deserve it. I've been fighting for a long time.
I agree with Coach Jason here. He said, I think Connor's bitten off more than he can chew.
I think he has too. He got a whole mouthful. I can't wait, man. No disrespect. That is one talented kid. He's a world champion, but he's if I didn't exist, just like Dana White said about Kobe Covington, that son of a bitch would be my champion if it wasn't for Kamaru Usman. Well, unfortunately, motherfucker, Kamaru Usman is in 165 is me, and I'm finna come get you.
Well, one thing I will say is that you better be ready if you're going to fight the Hitman. Because we all know damn well you're coming, and you're going to fight hard, and you're looking to hurt somebody.
Yep.
You know,
and entertain the fuck out of you guys.
Hell yeah! I mean, I see the stuff that you do, like the energy in and out of the ring. I think is probably. I mean, I'm sure you get the adrenaline, you get all that like inside the ring, but like you're pretty intense all the time. But
people said that to me online after I beat Will Chope, and I was excited. And they're like, God, he's injecting steroids in his eyeballs. Like, dude, if I did steroids at any point in my whole life, my head would pop off, my heart would explode. I'd have been dead at 22. God gave me so much energy. They probably been drawing my blood secretly, making steroids out of it. Even fucking.
Oh Lord.
I don't need no extra energy for nothing, dude.
Oh, I know it. Well, hey, are you going to any of the shows coming up here?
Yeah, I'm back as many shows as I can. I'm trying to hit up all of them. So
awesome. Well, if I'm going to be down in Orlando on May 6th, so if you happen to be there, if you're not in training camp,
I'm planning on coming to that show. So
cool. Well, if I see you there, I'll buy you a beer.
Possible Disneyland trip or something.
There you go. Hey,
and I am buying you a beer too, sir.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if I'll be able to drink that beer there, though.
How come?
Let me show you something.
What is that?
Oh, calorie free.
Calorie free.
I am eating raw fish, vegetables, no alcohol. I ain't had a white claw in 4 weeks. I know the promise of the Lord still exists, but I don't drink no more shit.
No shit, no kidding.
I'm doing it. I'm not saying never, but I'm gonna have some good bourbon or something sometime, or have a beer or occasion. But Connor asked for something, and I'm gonna give him the best fucking version. Yeah. I'm purifying myself for this one. I ain't never taking this shit so serious.
There you go, David. Yeah. We had some feedback on David, and
I was hearing me.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Yeah. But yeah, well, either way. That would be fun. That would be a great photo op. You know what I mean?
But we'll hang out and have a good time.
Yes, we will. Regardless,
I have a lot of pictures with Joe, so I'm not jealous at all.
And hit some CBD or something.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But hey, man, thank you so much for being on here, and we love you, man, and we support you to the end. And
guys, thank you,
dude. You're definitely one of my favorite fighters to watch. I always know that you're going to put on a show, and Misfit says she wants all the smoke. You want all the smoke.
I tell her I'm kind of feeling bitchy on this no alcohol diet. I'm thinking about going to the women's division. Hey, swimmers can do it. I can. Fuck you.
Hey. Well, that is interesting. We've seen some of that in combat sports, but I don't think it's going to go
She's wild.
No, we love Misfit. Christine is
my girl.
Christine's my buddy. She's she's my girl, and she knows I love her. And Christine's the same though. I mean, when you're in fight camp mode, you have to keep your body clean. No,
I really this time it's different, man. I literally am I woke up one day and I just said that I'm going to take this as the complete purest opportunity I can and do everything perfect. And it turned into something wild. I couldn't even believe it, man. Everything's cleaning up and getting real good. And I'm the healthiest, strongest I've ever been. And so I'm just excited and ready. It's been too long, like I said. I'm just thank y'all for letting me come on here and share my little comeback.
You come on anytime you want. All you got to do is just let us know, and we will bring you on at your beck and call. Brittany, closing thoughts.
That beautiful wife, I said hello, and I'm ready to see her again too. Your better half.
She said, "Love you, girl." I don't know if you heard that.
I love you too. She's wonderful. She's wonderful.
Misfit said it'd be an honor to toe the line with you.
Hell yeah, it would. I don't know, man. She's vicious as hell.
I wouldn't do it.
Cutting that much weight, I don't think I could take her. I cut down to 135, and she gonna beat my ass.
Oh Lord. So you got anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
I love my wife. She's awesome. And just like Britton said, she wasn't putting up with me, I wouldn't have such a gentleman. And for real, it's just easy to have a life when somebody supports your dreams and puts your dreams before themselves even sometimes. And it's amazing, man. I got all these sponsors because of her. She makes all my packets. We do all my stuff. We support other fighters. I've got gyms at my house. I got weights coming over. I got students coming in, training in and out of my garage. And she just supports everything. So thanks for her and everybody that does all this stuff with me. Owes her too. So that's where we're at. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Better Knuckle. Thanks. Here I come, boys.
There we go. We can't wait. Thank you very much, Joe. Have a great night. We got Gabe Rudiger on here. What's going on, Gabe?
Peace out.
Hey, so stay tuned. We're wrapping up our show. This has been Bare Knuckle Insiders. Stay tuned for. Oh, what's up, Janine?
Hello.
What's up,
how's everybody doing? So the Fight Mixer family, not everybody, but a lot of us are here in the house. But coming up next is Fight Mixer Tonight. So stay tuned. We got a great show on Fight Mixer tonight. It's going to be awesome.
We're going to freeze.
You guys are going to love it. You were frozen, but now you're not. There you go.
You were frozen.
Stay tuned, guys.
All right.
Right, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're going to be live after a commercial break with UFC fighter No Hype, Phill Hawes, and we are joined by Mr. Gabe, four-time world champ, and the best lady on the planet next to Britain, Janine. So we're going to have a great fucking show. I can't wait. I'm hyped to bits. Let's go commercial break, and then we're going to go to Fight Mixer tonight.
from the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live. And now,
broadcasting live.
We will broadcast live on the Fight Mixer Show.
Boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Fight Mixer. Tonight we are here, Dave Potter, alongside four-time world champion, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Gabe. Gabe, how you doing? How are you?
I'm not bad. Just enjoying the beautiful weather on a Sunday. So yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. And we're here with obviously Jake, Hollywood Jake Hatton cannot make it tonight. He's been a little bit busy, he's a very busy guy. You know, I just saw him posting pictures with him, and saw him posting pictures with Channing Tatum. I'm like, Jesus Christ, who do you hang out with? I'm convinced that Jake and Gabe know everybody. I mean, Gabe actually brought up a story how he was training fucking Paris Hilton at one point. I mean, you guys pretty much know everybody, so I'm just convinced. And we are here with the co-host for this evening, a big fan of Phill Hawes. We're here with Janine. Janine, what's going on?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing good. Your first show happened last week. Gabe, she spoke to Dean Thomas last week.
Yeah. I didn't hear the show. I apologize. I don't watch the other shows. I should, but it's difficult to manage business, family life, and then extracurricular activities.
Understandable. If you get the opportunity, though, play it back. He's such a great dude. I mean, overall, just a great, funny guy. But I love his,
a long time. It's been in the sport a long time.
What he does for the local community here in South Florida. He came back to his roots and lives in his hometown, and it's awesome. So I have so much respect for Dean. He's great.
No, you're the fucking man, Jason. Thank you. And yeah, it was a great. And I'm just convinced that entire generation. Again, this is Gabe's generation, like Dean Thomas and Gabe and Jake and all these. That entire generation is on a different fucking playing field. They're a different level. And especially class act and respect and all that good stuff. They're definitely a generation that will never get back, especially in the modern day mixed martial arts. I mean, they are cut from a different cloth without question. So
absolutely.
And speaking of which, I wanted to ask your personal opinion about this, Gabe. Our boy Mike Tyson, what the hell happened?
I saw the video, especially the clips of the other guy, and anybody thinks that guy, any judge will think that guy deserved to get punched. And
agreed.
Honestly, like, he didn't even piece him up that bad. It was just like you're being such a complete douchebag, and he asked you nicely to leave him alone and just to shut up. And look, just as out of respect for who he is, you think he would do that, right? But
right.
Alas, people, they don't understand what respect is, and sometimes, regardless of what the laws are, I personally feel that there's certain things you should just let slide, and that happens to be one of them.
I mean, if you heckle Mike Tyson, I mean, you deserve a hall pass for getting your ass kicked. It's just like, it shows how brazen, like, people are, that you think that you're going to heckle and harass fucking Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson's not going to kill you. The reason why
but that's the thing is Mike didn't kill him. He just pieced him up a little bit. Just enough to, like, look, I'm serious. Like, shut up. Like, and, like, honestly, like, if now I heard he didn't press charges, thankfully, but if I were Mike Tyson's attorney and he was like, yeah, Mike Tyson could have killed him, and I would have been like, yes, I absolutely could have killed him. I just wanted him to shut up, and I just did the minimum amount to ensure that I was safe and he was safe.
Correct.
I don't understand something. Yes, and this is what I don't understand.
What?
Well, that's a little too dark. No, you're good. Oh, MacGyver's messing with my lighting right now. Okay, so here's the thing. They were in the air, right? They weren't on the ground. This all happened in the air. Okay, so why didn't the flight attendant do anything to stop this idiot before it escalated to the point where he got knocked the fuck out by Mike Tyson? Where did it all happen so quickly that they couldn't? I mean, obviously this guy was heckling and interrogating for, I mean, honestly, you have to be an idiot not to see it, right? Like, so where were they? What was going on?
That's a good point. And I think that the rules don't apply to Mike Tyson. Like Mike Tyson, like he used to smoke weed like brazenly in public. And I think people are just like, you know what? Let him do it because it keeps the entire world safe. You know, keeps
and mounds of cocaine. But Mike Tyson is a totally
cocaine anymore.
No, in the past, right? But now he has.
He knows that's a poor decision. I think weed for Mike Tyson's a good thing. Cocaine, maybe not. Let's just stay with cocaine. Like honestly, like if I was at a party and there was a bunch of cocaine and Mike Tyson walked in, I'm like, I'm leaving. But there's a bunch of weed, I'd be like, I'll hang out and talk to him.
Yeah, and you know, it's Mike Tyson too, like baddest man on the planet. Maybe like, and these kids growing up, they see Mike Tyson from like The Hangover, and they see him on Dancing with the Stars and doing his like comedy appearances. They don't remember the Mike Tyson from back in the day. And I grew up a Mike Tyson fan, and I met Mike Tyson, probably the nicest guy ever. It was like Ralphie. I had all these things mixed up in my head that I wanted to say, like blah 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 blah, and like I just shook his hand. I was like, "Thank you, Mike," and I'm like, "Thank you, Mike." Like what the fuck? It was like when Ralphie met the Santa Claus in A Christmas Story, where you forget everything you wanted to say. Like that, Mike Tyson was my fucking hero. But I think that generation that went up to Mike Tyson, and that guy that went up to Mike Tyson and heckled and harassed him, never grew up during the time frame of Mike Tyson absolutely fucking killing people, like especially during the 80s and the 90s. They don't remember that Mike Tyson. We do. And that's why it's so crazy to us and mind-blowing why anybody would go up and start shit with Mike Tyson.
Matt said something earlier, which is the guy, well, first off, he had his friend recording. So he knew what he was doing. And he was looking for a reaction. You know, he essentially got the reaction that he was hoping to get to maybe go viral. Or I mean, the way our society is based now is like people really will do whatever they can to be known, right? And they don't care if it's bad or good. They'll just do it. And I mean, this guy is going to be known. Like he's going to be hated beyond hated. I haven't heard one person that's like, yeah, that was awesome. Like I like genuinely, but if it's for his 15 minutes of fame, he's going for it.
Yeah, what's going on, Debbie? How you doing?
Hi,
what's going
Debbie.
on, Debbie? Yeah.
Well, and I also think, not to jump in, but to jump in, I think we live in a day and age where everyone's offended by everything, and everyone doesn't think that there are consequences to getting beat up in a good old fashioned punch when you're an asshole. And I think, quite frankly,
I don't see the correlation between the two. like cancel culture and being an idiot getting punched in the face, I don't see a correlation.
Yes, because everyone's offended, right? Everyone's offended. So everyone runs and gets their mommy and their lawyer and everyone else as soon as something happens, bullying or whatnot. So here's this adult bully on a plane antagonizing someone. I think he was intoxicated. I don't know. But the point was, we live in an age where people think, oh, Mike Tyson's not going to do anything to me because I'll sue him. And Mike Tyson's like, you need to get knocked out whether you sue me or not. You deserve a good ass beating is my point.
Yeah, pick a judge or like a lawyer that nowadays will fucking go after Mike Tyson when you see the video. I mean, everybody has a camera nowadays, so everyone will refer back to that video and see this guy getting harassed and be like, well, I guess you deserve that. So, and by the way, we have somebody joining. It's gonna be no hype. Phill Hawes. Phill Hawes, what's going on, brother? Phill Hawes connecting.
We got a frozen. Is that frozen? Nope.
Might be frozen. I think he's still trying to connect. Hey, Phill, can you hear us? I think Phill trying to connect. Mr. Hawes. A little bit.
You might have to.
That's okay.
Oh, nope. It's gonna get good too.
I think Phill is having a little bit of trouble connecting.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Oh man, he's having trouble connecting. Hey Phill, I think you're having a little bit of trouble connecting. Let's see what we can do to fix this.
Am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up just a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah.
Oh, and we're gone.
So
technical difficulties for the win.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. Justin Sims, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hi, Justin.
I love Justin.
I love him too. So real quick, Gabe, while I have you kind of isolated here, tell me about these plants behind you, because that's a lot of watering. Do you water all those plants, or does someone else water them, or are they fake? Are they succulent? Like, I need to know.
This is actually my montage to my wife. So
okay,
this is what she does, and that's her thing. Is she's really into plants, and so they're all well taken care of, and I would kill them all within a week. So
me too. That's why I'm saying, because anything. I mean, I kill every plant ever, and I love plants. So I was going to commend you if you were the one that was actually watering them.
I mean, yeah, it is me. She's lazy. I do all this. It's, I do this along with my work and everything. So
hey, all right. So, hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Just hanging out. How you doing?
How you doing, man? Thank you so much for taking the time. Obviously, you're spending time with your beautiful family, but thank you very much, a UFC fighter. No hype, Phill Hawes. So, Phill Hawes, what's going on, man? What's been going on in your world?
Nothing, man. Just training, getting ready for June 18th. Ready to showcase what I've been working on. I'm excited, so it's gonna be fun.
Awesome, man. And you're gonna be fighting a gentleman that actually you guys were arranged to fight twice before, right? And that fight fell through, but now this is gonna be the third time. Is that correct, or what do you know about your opponent?
No, you're right. You're right. So I think the first time he got injured, and then the second time he, I'm not sure, they didn't tell me what happened the second time, but it didn't pan out. But the UFC, they do their thing and they make it work. So we're here again.
Absolutely.
Was this a fight that you? Sorry. Was this a fight that you wanted? Like, obviously, it's been on your plate 3 times. So is this time like you're prepped and ready to do this? So ready that he just froze. It's good.
I'm always everything. I want. So you have to showcase in front of the world. Just blessed, and of course I want to fight. Make money. Gas ain't cheap. Gas, so.
Absolutely. And also congratulations, by the way, making it back to the UFC. Obviously, the No Hype Tour has been synonymous, especially around our stomping grounds of Hoboken, Jersey City. The No Hype Tour, going to Brave and knocking out people out there and coming back here. Congratulations, by the way, to making it back to the UFC, making it back to the big time where you absolutely belong. So how's it feel to be back in the UFC and back in the thick of things as one of the best middleweights in the world?
Man, it's a blessing, and I think it's my faith in God. You put the people around me that I need at the same amount of time, and to help me maneuver to get to where I'm at right now. And there's a list of people I have to thank just to be here, just to get to the pinnacle of the sport, but there's still so much to do. So I'm just going to keep the faith, keep the tour going and become the best in the world.
You're the man.
Yeah.
And Janina's a big fan, by the way, so that's why she's joining us as a co-host for tonight.
So I'm like fangirling out over here. Hi, Phill. I am like such a fan of yours. It's like ridiculous. Like they said you were going to be on, and I almost wet myself. Like no joke. I am like a total fan of yours.
I have that effect.
You do. You have that effect. So I just want to ask you a few things, because you've been in the fight game for a long time, and I mean long time. Like you did Ultimate Fighter, you did the Contender Series, you were in Bellator Fighter, you were in Brave Combat Federation. So you've been in this a long time. How did you even get started? I mean, was this something that you got into as a kid, or tell me a little bit about your backstory about how you got into fighting?
Man, when you start rattling off all the things I've been to, it's kind of crazy, because you always look forward to the next goal, the next thing, the next UFC champ. So you really don't look in the back and seeing all the Bellator, Brave, It's crazy. But how I started, just like a lot of wrestlers they start wrestling in college, and then you figure out like, okay, the Olympics is cool, but I'm still gonna be broke, so let's get in the cage and start fighting, And thankfully, thank God, it panned out well for me, and I'm doing great at it. So yeah, just typical wrestler trying to find his way. And then went to an MMA gym. My friend Carrington Banks invited me to one. And I just picked up on the sport. It was so different from who I am as like I'm not a super aggressive person, but now going to a gym and you got to bring that out and you just maybe unleash some stuff. And it's been awesome. Like it's my life now. So definitely blessed.
And I saw in your stats, do you train at a Sanford MMA?
Yeah. That's my squad.
So you're a local. I live in South Florida. I'm just saying, we can meet up for coffee or something. I mean, I'm just putting it out there, Phill.
Yeah, we could do that, most definitely.
Awesome,
man.
Phill, you being a wrestler, you hit on something that I hear a lot, and I've trained with like Olympic caliber wrestlers, and I mean a lot of really high level wrestlers. They get to a point where they realize that. Yeah, the Olympics are good. Like perfect example is Mo Lawal is a good friend of mine. He was getting ready for the Olympic trials, and Mo decided to start training for MMA because he was like, "Look, if I go to the Olympics or not, I'm going to then transition into fighting. That's the idea. Is I'm going to transition." Why do you think it is with wrestling in particular that we have this group of athletes? Now, admittedly, it's a combat sport and it's something that is necessary for the sport. But we find that wrestlers transition to MMA. It's not every wrestler. Obviously, there are plenty. I mean, every team has got multiple guys, and there are guys from every school. But I noticed that wrestlers in particular have a transitioning point over into
MMA. We have this avenue. We're wrestlers, and I think if you do your 4 years, whatever you end when you're 21, so you still got you still want to compete. You still got that drive. And some of us don't win national titles, or they don't get that the cream on the top, to finish off the career. Like, okay, I'm done. Let me just go settle down and have some kids and blah blah blah. So you still want that. You want to taste that gold. You want to taste that success. And with MMA and UFC, Bellator, and all these other promotions, that gives us a chance to keep competing. And and we're just blessed to have this sport explode. So a lot of wrestlers have another avenue as opposed to if you don't get to be Olympic alternate or something like that. So yeah.
And being a top level wrestler, I mean, you were obviously a top level. Did you start wrestling when you were a kid, or was that your base? And I know you were born in Hackensack. I was born in Emerson. So you got into wrestling as a kid, or what was your first introduction to mixed martial arts?
No, I started wrestling a little late. I started as a freshman, but yeah, but I picked up on it fast, because wrestling is a sport. If you do it and you like it, you'll love it in a heartbeat. Like I think if you like instant gratification to an extent, you should do combat sports because you can see yourself from the day yesterday get a little bit better, a little bit better, and a little bit better. It takes time to see the whole bigger picture, but you can like work on one technique and tomorrow you can produce it better. So that was wrestling for me. It was just it became natural, and it was just self-discipline and just working hard. And you look up to guys who are just laser focused, and I just love that passion. I've seen guys like Dan Gable, John Smith, Kenny Monday, guys like those. So it's hard. I guess as a crazy person, it's hard not to love. When you see other crazy people doing the crazy sports. So I loved it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of Janine, you got a question?
You've achieved so much, and you're young. Ultimately, let's say fast forward in the next 10 years, where do you see yourself? What's your goal 10 years from now? Because right now you're in your prime, right?
Yeah. It's man, it's crazy.
Might have connection issues.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Can you hear this? Because I don't hear anything. I was just curious because you were nodding your head Which
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry about that, man.
I was like, you're just doing it. I'm like, okay, he hears, I just don't. Okay, that's
sorry about that, brother. And obviously,
I'm sorry.
Janine, I obviously asked, you accomplished so much. So in your projection, what's left to accomplish for you?
Man, you know, you always want to be, you want to be the best, and I need to put the nail in the coffin. I came out to be the best in the sport, and that's exactly what I'm looking to do. Just win the team going and become world champ. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're gonna Gabe's gonna ask one more question. I'll ask one more question. We'll let you wrap it up, obviously, with your family, and you're enjoying time with them. So Gabe, question for Mr. Phill.
What genuinely makes you happy? Like really, what like brings happiness to your heart?
Man, like I know it's like no mission.
I really want to hear what he's saying.
Like I found, hear me?
I was like, this is a question that I asked because I genuinely want the answer to, and it cut out right as soon as, and I'm like, let's do a restart. Let's start over again.
Yeah, you got me.
I got you.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
All right, cool. All right, man, like just generally that I found a purpose in life. You know, if you know me, you see me on a day-to-day basis. You almost, if you ask me, hey, how you doing? I'll say I'm always good. You know, even if sometimes I may not notice how good I am, but then when you travel the world and you see things like, you know, like we're blessed people. Like I see you guys all in your houses, and you know what I mean. I don't know where you are, I don't know where you are, but we're blessed to have this communication.
I got beautiful plants.
Yeah,
beautiful plants.
You know what I mean? So I mean, we're just all blessed. You know, we're all somewhat healthy, and you know what I mean. So I'm just happy to be alive, really. You know what I mean? And just blessed every day, and I'm happy to find a purpose. I have my purpose, and I'm just living life. You know, so I'm just blessed to be here. I'm happy.
Man, Phill, I would like the exhilaration of the winning the fight. Maybe I don't know, time with family, like helping blind kids across the street.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy every day. Okay,
I am. It's that simple, you know. It's that simple. So I train at Stanford, right? And next to the Stanford, it's called Barwis. It's like a rehabilitation veterans or like disorders. Like they may not be able to walk. Crazy disorders where they just walk. I mean, they just want to do what we do every day and take for granted. So some days I walk into that part just to remind myself how blessed I am to just be able to come here and train and, you know, live life, you know? So, man, I'm sorry to be corny, but it's true, dude. I'm sorry.
No, hey, trust me,
winning is badass though. Winning is badass though. That's a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie.
And you're absolutely right, and you nailed it, the point on the head. And like just going to the gym with you, you're just an aura of positivity. I mean, you say hello to everybody. You said hello to me, like one of the nicest guys on the planet. But also, when you get in the cage, monsters circle around the campfire and tell Phill Hawes stories. I mean, you're one of the scariest individuals on the planet. So one more question, I'll let you get back to your beautiful family. But obviously, a part of a division that is murder's row, especially in the UFC, and a very competitive division. Who would you want to fight, especially after you get past in June? Because spoilers, he's going to get past whoever in June. But after that, who do you want to? Who's on your hit list right now?
Man, if I could go down to 70 and capture Hamza, that'd be nice.
Really?
I always been thinking about 70 and going down to 70 because I feel stature-wise those guys match up a little better, you know. Tired of fighting like 6'6" guys, you know. So, but if I could go down there, get Hamza or jump in the rankings quick on that, that'd be sweet. But you know, I still could clear at 185. But after this fight, maybe I don't know. There's a lot of people. Who else is it? Marvin
McCoy. Could you make the cut to 70? Could you make the cut to 70 pretty easily, or would that be like that's gonna put some work in?
It's gonna put some work in, but that's what we're here for, you know. So
right,
let's put the work in.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'll let you get back to your Sunday, but any shout outs, any sponsors? Obviously, we're all excited for you to fight in June and get this win. Any shout outs you want to make?
Yeah, I got my sponsor. They always hold me down, New Life. They got great supplements, and they have a great supplement called Myelin 6. Helps you kickstart your day, mix in with your coffee and everything. So no, that's just it. And just blessed. Thank you guys for having me. It's awesome. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Mr. Hawes, no hype, Mr. Hawes. Thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to interview.
I want to say good skill on your fight. I don't believe in luck. Go out there and do your very best and enjoy the experience, my friend.
I love you, Phill.
Hey, I love you too.
I don't love you, but you seem like a nice guy.
So.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, Phil's a class act. He is the absolute man. And like and a story back to our old gym before it shut down because of the pandemic. But like he was doing a private, kind of like a private lesson for wrestling, and I was there to meet my coach Gio. He's like, "Yeah, come help out in wrestling." So I'm like, "Holy shit, I get to help out Phill Hawes! Holy crap!" And help him out with wrestling during one of his privates, helping out one of the kids with wrestling. So that was really cool. He's just he embodies this positivity and just he sells fights, and he's a big deal all around here. But he sells fights not by talking at all, by knockout power, killer knockout power, awesome wrestling, and he puts in the work. Like just watching him before, and especially doing just training with Dan and training with the other people, just seeing him put in work it was fucking impressive. It was impressive. It was pretty mind blowing.
I mean, so the wrestlers as a whole, they have such a core piece of the MMA game down already. So basically they learn some striking, they learn some ground, and then they're good to go. Especially if they have a work ethic and they're willing to push. And a lot of wrestlers do, because wrestling is a very, very physical sport. I think you get a wrestler that understands that, especially like the financial side. I can't even tell you how many guys I know that we're even world champions. We had I'm trying to think of his name. He was the guy who won the worlds at Greco. It was at Quest, and he quit. He could have gone to the Olympics, but he was a world champion. The world champions that you're essentially that is just as good, if not better, than the Olympics in the wrestling world. And he quit to do MMA. I mean, because there was a financial backing behind it. So it's.
There's something about him. He dominates real quick. He's such a nice guy, but when he steps into that octagon, he is focused. And I think there's a lot of fights. I watch UFC as much as I possibly can. I'm just such a huge fan of UFC, but there's certain fighters that just stick out in your mind when they fight because of their focus and the work that they put in. And just Phill Hawes does that for me. I enjoy watching him fight. That is an art to that.
I've never seen him fight.
He's so focused. I'm
going to definitely sit and I will be definitely watching the next bout.
And don't mind Gabe, because Gabe also does not watch a lot of MMA because he's running a gym and everything like that.
I mean, there's so many guys out there that there are so many exceptional fighters, and those guys that are going out there to do something it's difficult now. It was even difficult back in the day, but now it's far more difficult. You got like 200, 300 people per division, so it's.
So we're gonna play a fun little game, boys and girls. Obviously, Phill and Phill and I were talking. He said, "Yeah, I'm with my family right now." I'm like, "We'll do 15, 20 minutes. Don't even worry about that." And obviously, having technical difficulties, all that fun stuff. So Phill has this great thing on his Instagram where it's "Show Me Something Friday." So, and we're gonna play this game, but obviously,
it's Sunday. But it's Sunday. Today is Sunday.
So, in honor of our friend, my buddy Phill, we're going to play a game called Show Me Something, where I'm going to show both of you guys videos at random. And you guys will either give the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And people at home, you can play along too. So I'm going to show viral videos, and you guys, if you're impressed by it, you give a thumbs up. If you're not impressed by it, you give a thumbs down. And Gabe is very hard to please. But Janine, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm all in.
Very good. So, first viral video. We're going to play Show Phill Something in honor of my buddy Phill. Let's go to the first viral video. Are you ready?
Let's do this. Capoeirista, man. That's a capoeira kicks. I'm sorry. I should have given a thumbs up. Who doesn't appreciate a good capoeira kick? I had a buddy of mine that former training partner of mine that was a high level capoeirista, and he in sparring hit me with one of those kicks, and it was not pleasant. Now it didn't knock me out like that, but it was definitely a kick that was not fun to get hit with.
Jesus Christ! Thumbs up for me.
I love Flash, and who doesn't like Flash, right? But like, who is that guy, and what's his career been?
I have no idea.
Exactly. That like we see, like, I love that. I could watch that 1,000 times. And the one issue that I have, and again, I gave a thumbs up, so it is good. But Flash is just that Flash. And I mean, if you do it every time, then there's something special. But how often does that happen? Where you have someone that is consistently every single time doing Flash?
Jesus fuck. All right, so let's go to the next video, shall we? 3 thumbs up. Let's go. Wait, he threw 4 balls into 1 hole. I mean, Gabe, you know everything about that. You know what I'm saying?
I do that all the time.
Yeah, see, she does it all the time. Not that impressed.
All right, I get like a middle. It's like a middle.
I got down. That was down for me.
Yeah, that was down for you, Janine?
Yep.
Yeah, not impressed.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to the next video, shall we?
Oh, you didn't! No. Oh.
Fake.
No.
Right.
Completely and utterly fake.
Oh, come on. That was awesome.
Oh my God, I'm bald. I was sleeping through you cutting all my hair off. Oh my gosh. And it wasn't even good acting. No, thumbs down.
And with all of like the Will Smith bullshit going on right now, I didn't
even put that 2 and 2 together, but she's got a point there as well.
Yeah.
But no. Fake, obviously, like blatantly fake. And it wasn't even good acting. Oh my gosh, you really did it? Oh, as a matter of fact, oh my God, you really did it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Man.
Fair enough. Good analogy. And Gabe, would you ever shave your wife's head? And how fast would you be murdered?
You know what? My wife and I, we play pretty rough, but I wouldn't do that. I mean, there have been times she's like, the thing is, my wife calls me a pussy sometimes. She'll be like, do it, you pussy. And I'm like, now I kind of, do I have to, am I at a point now where I have to do it? Or do I have to just, keep calm? But like, I mean, if she did, no, I wouldn't do it.
Fair enough. So, Janine, thumbs down, right?
Way thumbs down. Not impressed.
Way thumbs down. All right. Let's go to the next video, shall we?
You know what? I want to give it a thumbs up. The danger factor, and I mean that's pretty impressive. Do I want to see a blooper reel? Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Gabe, you have giant
How
balls.
real is that? Like, how do you fact check that to see if it's an actually real video, if it was superimposed? Because if that's actually a real video, that is way impressive.
It looked pretty real. I mean, now, admittedly, like the way that technology is, it's possible that it's not, but that looked real to me. It looked almost as real as the NASA photos that show that the Earth is round, because we know it's flat.
I'll get a thumbs up for me.
So yeah, I got a thumbs up for me. Yep.
Perfect. All right, let's go to the next video, shall we? Thumbs way fucking up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure.
I am a big fan of flatulence. So anything that a male and a female can do in a skit, in a comedic type of way, I'm down with.
That deals with farts in particular.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fart humor is just. I listen now. Admittedly, fart humor is the first humor that everybody gets. Everybody understands fart humor. Like little kids understand, they laugh about fart, like without question. But I'm no, just I mean, I'll give it a half. I'll give it a half.
All right, fair enough. Oh wait, wrong one. Shit.
How many are we gonna do?
I think that was 4 balls.
That was 4?
Yeah.
The same dude?
Who cares?
Same dude. Okay, fair enough. Next video.
Can we watch that again?
See it? Hold on.
I want to know exactly what's going on there. Like, was that firecrackers or what?
I think that's firecrackers.
It's like a sparkler went wrong.
It went off the guy's face, or I
Went off the guy's
face. I want to give it a thumbs up, but I'd like to know more. I want a follow-up video. I want to see the guy's face. I'm hoping that it's burned, and if it was burned, I'd get a more thumbs up. But I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Fair enough. How about you, Janine?
Down.
Oh, thumbs down. Wow. Okay.
Why?
Because I didn't see enough to accurately give a true.
What if the guy would have farted?
Then it would have been a thumbs up.
Yeah,
I mean, 100%.
All right, so
there we go. You guys made it. Next video, shall we?
You might not like it, but this is what the peak male athletic form looks like.
Yeah. And
thumbs down for me.
Okay. Please, why?
Looks like he's 4 months pregnant. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, man.
But
I mean, like the back.
But he did the backflip on rollerblades, and he's wearing rollerblades. He's wearing rollerblades.
And he's out of shape.
And he's not wearing a shirt and doing it on rollerblades.
And
I give him credit for that alone.
Out of shape is the biggest key element here. That man is not. He has a BMI well above what a normal BMI. Like my BMI is his BMI. Okay, he effectively did it's a thumbs up. It's 2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I'm not giving him 2, but definitely a solid 1.
All right, fair enough, sir. Okay, last video. Are you guys ready? One more video. A bite.
Somebody once told me the world is.
I don't know.
We'll just watch it again for effect. Gabe is on.
Somebody once told me the world is.
I don't know. I'm going middle ground on this one. I'm not. That's middle ground. I'm not sure. Not sure.
You're a little bit disappointed.
No, I'm not. Disappointment is not the right word. I like skateboarding. I like skateboarding tricks. I like a good nut shot. It fulfilled those, but it didn't hit. Like I wanted it to be. Now, if it would have been a much more impressive trick and a much harder nut shot, then I'd been like, yeah, thumbs up. But it was like, it was the median of both. It was a small nut shot and it was a decent trick. You get what I'm saying? So like, I give it like that would be a draw round.
Fair enough. So we have a clear-cut winner, guys. It's going to be this one.
Why is he wearing a mask? Was he wearing a GIMP mask?
Yeah, I think
he's just got watching it the second time. The guy's wearing a GIMP mask.
Wait, can we replay that?
He's wearing. And he has duct tape on his knees.
So they are clearly in some BDSM role play.
Yeah, that was just 2 people like that was a blooper of what was like a typical Saturday night.
Correct.
That's what that is. And now, you know what? It gets a thumbs up for that reason.
Absolutely.
Blooper for a Saturday night absolutely gets a thumbs up.
100%.
Fuck yeah. So thank you very much for Phill Hawes for coming on the show. And obviously we wanted to play with him, but unfortunately, he's technical difficulties and of course with his family. So upcoming fights. coming up, Gabe, are you excited for any upcoming fights? Probably not, but let me just give it a shot. Any
I mean, the Gaethje Oliveira fight. I mean, the lightweight division as a whole is exciting, and I honestly, what I want to see, which I don't think is going to see, but I'd like to see Oliveira win, and then he's on such a streak and beat the guys that Habib beat that we could potentially have. Because I want to see how Habib would handle a submission guy that goes for it as hard as Oliveira does. He hasn't done that. He hasn't had a pure sub artist, and that fight appeals to me.
I think Gaethje has a pretty good shot in that fight.
I do. Like I said, what I want and what I think are two very, very different things. I think Gaethje is going to beat him, but I am not. If Oliveira won, I would not be surprised, and that would bring me the excitement of a potential matchup between him and Habib. Because again, Habib is supreme in what he's done, but he has not fought a good jiu-jitsu guy, a guy that is hunting for submissions, and if you take him down, is going to be working. I thought like the Tony Ferguson fight was another one that would have been interesting. Now Tony's lost a couple fights, but again, like we hadn't seen Habib. Now it seems like his pressure is dominant and his grappling is supreme, but I want to see him against a ground specialist.
And that's also the same card as Thug Rose Namajunas versus Cupcake. Not Cupcake. Carla Esparza.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've known Carla for years, and I know everyone likes Rose, but I'm really hoping that Carla wins. She's a California wrestler. I met her at Team Quest. She's always been very, very friendly, and she works out with Coach Oyama, who's a close friend of the show and has been on the show and is a close friend of mine. I hope that Carla becomes the next champion. That would be awesome.
Fair enough. And Janine, any fights that you're excited for?
I mean, I have to agree. I mean, Gaethje and Oliveira, I mean, that's just going to be an epic fight. So I would have to say that absolutely I look forward to that. But I also always look forward to my next Usman fight because you can't see what I'm wearing, but I'm wearing my UFC 261, which a year ago today, me and Justin went to Jacksonville and watched Usman dominate. What's his name, MacGyver?
You know better than I do. I don't know.
No,
261. What were they at in UFC now? They're like at 200.
The guy that just started Icon Fitness. What's his name? He never wins.
390.
Masvidal. He never wins. Yeah. So he started Icon Fitness because he never wins. Anyway.
Well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, it's
hold on.
He hasn't won his last two fights, but that's certainly not more of a we've seen, far superior fighters lose. And Masvidal has beaten a lot of really tough guys. So you have to give him I'm sorry. I as a fighter, I feel like I'm not a Masvidal fan in the respect of the shtick that he does and everything like that. But he's been a fighter's fighter, and you can't. I mean, he's a tough dude.
People love him, and he's a wonderful person. But as far as a fight, he's a nice dude.
I don't know.
All right.
He has this Tony Montana shtick, and I think people kind of push that on him. I just think it's silly. But as far as a fighter, win or lose, that guy's he's a bad dude.
He's one of the pioneers too. He got started with he was doing backyard fights with Kimbo Slice. I mean, he is a Florida resident until he dies, and he is pretty gangster. I mean, Masvidal, it's very easy to criticize him that he's losing, but at the same token, he's losing against the best people in the world and the best organization in the world.
You fight the best guys and you put it on the line, you can always lose. And a perfect example was the Burns versus Chimaev fight. I thought Chimaev won, rightfully so, but Burns, you could have absolutely said he could have won that fight, right? Yeah. And Burns losing that fight does not make Burns any worse or because he sucks. No, he's a supreme athlete that lost on that day, right? And there are plenty of guys that go ahead.
Not to jump in, but just to say I'm all about loyalty. So like I went to FSU, right? So FSU half the time plays like shit or they play great. And University of Florida, I will never like. So for me, no matter how good University of Florida is doing, I'm always going to say they're shit. So because I'm such an Usman fan, no matter who he fights, I'm going to be like, they're shit. Not to say that they're not good fighters, just to compare like my loyalty to Usman no matter what. Like I'm ride or die.
All right.
So that's it. I'm just ride or die type girl.
Let me ask you: if Usman loses, are you going to think less of Usman, or is it going to be that guy, or are you going to go that guy is so much better than Usman, or how are you going to handle that?
I'm Italian. I'm Italian. We're ride or die. Like we're there to the end.
That is a stereotype, young lady. That is a stereotype, and I know many Italians that would disagree with you.
I don't. My uncle had a glass eye and is from New Jersey, and we didn't ask questions. Like, listen, shit goes on in Italian families that you just,
He had to give up an eye? He had to give up an eye? Like, what type of bet was that where he had to put an eye on the table?
My uncle was shot in the eye in New Jersey and had a glass eye until he died. Like, no joke. That is for real legit. Like, mobster shit in New Jersey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I grew up in New Jersey. And that's why I'm so respectful, because I grew up around Italian families and some shit. Like, and there's some question, and Gabe, you just got to put it in perspective. There's some shit, like, especially with my friends' families and everything like that, where I mind my own fucking business, especially being a little kid and, like, waking up, like, during a fucking sleepover and seeing some weird-ass shit going on, some weird people. You don't question it, and that's New Jersey shit, Like, Sopranos is based on a true story, you know that?
I'm loyal. Like if I'm your friend for life. If I don't like you, you either know if I like you or I don't like you. There's really like no in between. There's no gray area with me. I don't sugarcoat it. If I don't like someone, they definitely know it because I don't fake it very well. So I'm like with you. Right. I'm always with you. It's just inherent in me. I don't know. I can't help it.
I think Usman is lucky to have you as a fan.
Woohoo! I love
it. It goes back where I talk shit about the Jets all the time, but the same token, the Jets, if they played any high school league, in any college league, if they played in Europe or anything like that, who would win? The Jets would be a 50-time world champion.
Would they though? Would they though? Let's be honest. Yeah, they might win 90% of the games. But there's a couple high schoolers that would probably give them a go. It's the Jets. It's the Jets.
If Masvidal fought in any promotion other than the UFC or Bellator or anything like that, Masvidal would be 60-time world champion, and he would be in 20 billion Hall of Fames. It's different when you're fighting the best people in the world in the best organization in the world. And Gabe, you fought in the best organizations in the world, and you're actually world champion of one of them, which is WC. So you can agree with me with that, sir.
There are so many really, really good fighters. And it's nice that there are fans that are like hoorah loyal to their people no matter what, and everyone they fight sucks. But my personal feeling, and again, I'm not coming from a fan perspective, is everybody deserves the respect. I mean, you're going out there and really everyone's going out there to entertain you and to give you an opportunity to say that they suck or they're good, or they're out there doing it. And I know there are a lot of people that feel that they could do it, but they can't and they don't.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't think it's a literal, like, you suck. I mean, I think it's just like friendly banter. Like if I met Masvidal, I'd be like, hey bro, let's go to dinner. I want to pick your brain. Like, I don't dislike the man. I just am loyal to my fan favorite. Just like all the thousands of people when I was at UFC 261, I think I was one of 10 people that were shouting for Usman because he clearly was not the fan favorite. The fans do not like him. When you're in that arena, and this was the first fight, UFC 261 was the first fight after the pandemic. It was the first. What?
Oh no, signaling Psycho Joe Mack. He's going to be in the show for strength.
Oh, okay. I'll stop then. But yeah, like people did not like Usman, and I'm like, why don't you like him? And they were booing him. It was just like they did not like him. I mean. It's just like Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz could lose every fight until he retires, and people are going to love him because he has
how
a
is that
following.
Like Nate Diaz? Isn't that the opposite?
No, what I'm saying is,
I mean, it is the opposite. Like you're saying, Nate Diaz like is loved, and you're saying Usman is hated. That's actually the opposite.
Correct. But what I'm saying is people that lose, people still love. Just like Usman, he's #1 in the world in the welterweight division, but people still hate him. They just don't like him.
Okay. That makes sense.
So people love Nate Diaz. He could fall and get up and lose every fight until he retires, and people will still love him because he has that lovable characteristic about him.
He has the Ric Flair effect, and when you're a fighter, and to me, all the pioneers, like you can. Sakuraba was the same way, where he lost 1,000,000 times, but he was Ric Flair. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses; he's still fucking Sakuraba to me. So, like, especially in the later stages of his career, you get to a certain point, and wins and losses, and Gable is probably he's the highest level of competitor, so he'll probably disagree with me, but winning and losing is like this inevitable thing where it's 50-50. You're either going to win or lose. But the one thing that's not guaranteed, winning or losing, draw, those situations are like, they're guaranteed. But for somebody to be so relatable and such a beloved character, and to really capture the imaginations of people, to reach out from the TV and grab someone, and somebody says, that guy inspires me, and fighting the greatest fights ever, like Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner. When somebody, asks me who won that fight, I'll say the fans won one, and two, both of them won. And, you get to a point as a fighter where you become beyond winning or losing, where you become so immortalized and so beloved. And, with Usman's different because Usman's constantly winning, and nobody likes people that win all the time. It happened to Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor, all the greats, where people just start booing. And New England Patriots, they used to boo the New England Patriots all the time, and even some of the fans, because he was winning all the time. Usman's different, everyone's different, but like Nate Diaz is that anomaly where he's beyond winning or losing. He is that beloved, he is that cared about, he's that respected. Where if you're that respected as a fighter, winning and losing is the inevitable, but you're gonna be respected. That one thing where a lot of people can't have that. A lot of people don't have that it factor or have the respect in the entire fight community. So I think that's the reason why.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's super interesting how that effect works, though.
Yeah.
Like, Gabe, who do you think, and going what David just said, I mean, who do you think is one of those characters who, win or lose, they're just beloved by fans?
Currently,
or past.
Currently, I mean, I think Conor happens to be one of those people. In the current roster, I don't know. I think that I think unfortunately right now it's only Conor. I think there's a lot of really exceptional athletes, like a Volkanovski. I think he's exceptional. You know what I mean? Like he's really putting in a legacy at 45. But I don't think that he's one of those guys that people, but maybe he is. I don't know. There are a lot of people that we don't know that, how. So the question is difficult to answer because we need to see people that are on a consistent losing streak to really gauge the people like I think like Masvidal happens to seem to have his fan base. He lost to Usman, and then his next fight was Colby, right? I think it was after a loss to then headline the next bout. I mean, that's kind of unheard of. The last fighter for me was, the last fighter for me was Randy Couture. That was the last fighter for me where win or lose. I'm sorry, was the question about who is that for me? I mean,
I think that was a question for both of us.
Last guy. I think Fedor and you brought him up too, Sakuraba. It's but then again, I think a lot of the fighters that we see, and another one will probably be BJ Penn when they're fighting past their prime, and so people don't really get an opportunity to see what they're doing because they're losing fights that in their prime they probably would have won. The thing is, Father Time is the heavyweight champion in the world. You know what I mean? And there are plenty of guys like Vanderlei Silva. When Vanderlei Silva was getting knocked out left and right, like that was him past his prime. And there are still guys. Or Chael had lost some fights that he shouldn't have lost. Like Chael lost to Tito. Like that. No, that's just like if they would have fought, in their prime, it would have been different. So it's kind of difficult to,
Absolutely. So we're gonna wrap up this show like a Christmas present. Obviously, this show is brought to you by Warrior Island. New show is going to be airing shortly. Aqua Training Bag, our good friends at Aqua Training Bag, as well as Kaja MMA Fitness. and stop in for a free class on the Fight Mixer. You get to train with four-time world champion Gabe Rigger and black belt. And
a bunch of other good instructors as well. I mean,
absolutely.
I have some other really good instructors.
And actually, tell him, and when you come in, say that David Potter says that you should get an autograph everywhere. Shirts.
Don't ever do that. Please do not do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. Gabe will show up at my house and fucking murder me. Yeah. Any last words, good sir?
Nope. I think it was a good show. Thanks for listening to the rants, Janine. I think it's the first time we've actually talked. I've seen you, but I don't interact. I'm sorry. I'm running a business and my family, and I check the chat periodically, but I don't really interact very much. But so it was nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you.
I think I'm gonna. No, I don't think. I know I'm gonna watch Phill Hawes' next fight. Pretty excited to see how that goes, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
It was a blast. Thank you guys for having me on your show. I mean, I was honored.
You're gonna be on the next show.
I know. I'm just. Everyone's just using me tonight. I feel good. I'm loving it.
Oh, you got a full house here. Oh my goodness!
Wow, things got serious in here.
Oh, guys joining.
Things got real. Holy shit! So we're gonna have a special word from our sponsors, and then we're gonna go right to Strange Pie, and we have a special guest. If anybody has stories upon stories upon stories, it is the mighty Psycho Joe Mac. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's happening, baby? It's your favorite mental patient, Psycho Joe Mac in the house. Proud to be on Strange Pile, ready to tell some stories about some UFOs, some aliens, and some supernatural stuff. That this is straight up legit. They call me Psycho Joe. There's a lot of reasons for that, but this is not three of them. And I've got three really cool stories, starting in 1976, going back to 1967, and then jumping back to 2007. I hope you got your listening ears on, because I'm about to tell you a story that will make the hero in the back of your neck stand up.
Janine, Alli, I need a bra because
damn.
Yes.
Right. All right, now a word from our sponsors, and we're going to Strange Pie with Alli, Janine, and Matt. Hold on one sec. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
What's up?
We have special guests that our buddy Matt here found us, and this is Psycho Joe, and he's going to tell us some of these awesome stories and experiences he's had that he's well known for.
What's going on, guys? Well, I'm not really known for these stories. I'm known for being your favorite mental patient, Psycho Joe Mack, because of my experiences in bare knuckle fighting, some crazy stuff I did in some street fights. But what I'm going to share with you guys tonight covers 1967, 1976, and 2007. Okay, and these stories that I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to get ridiculed for them. I don't care. People that really know me, they already know these stories, and they know these stories are legit. So let's just jump right in, because you're going to go on a ride right now. You're about to go on a ride you've never been on before. Keep an open mind and just know that what you're about to hear, I'm spitting nothing but the truth. This actually happened. I know what I saw. I know what my brother saw. And here we go, 1976, the summer. My brother and I are riding our 10-speed bicycles down Tusculum Road in South Nashville, a town called Antioch. Okay, we lived on Shacklet Lane Court, which jetted just off of Tusculum Road. There was a Jim Dandy Market over here to the left, and Mr. Lane had some property, big ass forest, right? It's now developed. There's houses, apartments, and everything. But back then, in 1976, it was a big forest. Now, my brother and I are riding our bicycles. We lived on a cul-de-sac down Shacklet Lane Court. We're riding our bikes. We're about to make that left turn onto Shacklet Lane Court. And suddenly, and I haven't always been bald, we had like our static electricity. I was 12 years old. My brother was 11. It was 1976. And the static electricity caught our hair, caught the hair on our arms. And you could feel like not a crackle or anything like that, but you could feel like this energy. And we both stopped our bikes. We were going this way. For whatever reason, we both looked to our right. And above the tree line, off in the distance, there was this classic disc, classic craft that had come up behind the trees. And this was not small. It wasn't like 20 or 30 feet. This thing was really, really big. And it didn't make any sound. But when you looked at it, you know, if you were holding a magnifying glass like this and you passed an image over it like this, how it would distort the image?
Yeah.
Well, around the disc, around this big silver, and it wasn't shiny. It was kind of a dull gray. There was this distortion around it. And my brother and I are both looking at the static electricity, and then as soon as we looked at it, it starts to move, and then bam, it was gone. It went so fast, it was gone. And it was almost like a snap, crackle, pop kind of thing. And both of us looked at each other. We raced our bikes down our cul-de-sac down Shacklet Lane Court, where all our friends were hanging out. We told them what just happened, and they said we were the biggest fucking liars on the face of the earth. And I was pissed off about it. It pissed me off that they would say that. However, I really had nothing to prove what we saw, but my brother, who's a retired firefighter, he saw it with me. He knows what he saw. And the reason I said we're going to go from 1976 to 1967 and then 2007, well, when this event happened in 1976, as you can imagine, it was very prophetic. It had a major impact on me. The following year in 1977, they came out with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And it wasn't exactly like that, but it was similar. And then my friends were like, oh, snap. Wow. Is that what you saw? I was like, well, not exactly, but something very similar to that. So the reason I bring up 1967, because in 1976, I was 12 years old. My brother was 11. This event happened. We know what we saw. We know what happened. We know what we saw. Okay. We didn't do drugs. We didn't do anything. We were kids on our bicycles on a Saturday afternoon. And the reason I bring up 1967, because I was born in Louisville, Kentucky in 1964. My mother actually went into labor on Mother's Day, May 10th, 1964. And I was born at 8:59 in the morning on a Monday, May 11th, 1964. The reason I bring that up is because the first 3.5 years of my life, we lived in Louisville. Now, when I was 3 years old, somewhere in there, I can't tell you exactly, but I know it was about 1967. I had a blanket when I was a little boy. I'm like 3 years old, right? I'm a little boy. I had a blanket called Mr. Green Jeans because I liked Captain Kangaroo. And they had this, I don't know if y'all remember, y'all are all too young to remember this. There was a show called Captain Kangaroo. It was before Barney. It was before Teletubbies and all that stuff. And so they had this guy named Mr. Green Jeans. So I had a green blanket that was like my security blanket, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it, but I called him Mr. Green Jeans. So I was laying in my bed, my little twin bed in our little bitty house, our little 800 square foot house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath house on Seaforth Drive in Louisville, Kentucky. And it's a little house. And like the windows outside were almost even with the ground outside. You know what I mean? And inside there's like little house, little windows. And I felt like somebody was looking at me. Now, this came back to me after the incident that happened in 1976 with my brother. It came back to me like a repressed memory. And it came back to me that I was laying in my bed. I felt like somebody was looking at me. So I felt compelled to go over to my window. We didn't have blinds back then. We had drapes. And I moved the drapes back. And I'm a little boy, man. I'm 3 years old. I'm looking out the fucking window, and there was either frost or snow on the ground, but it was cold out, but it wasn't like wintertime, but it was cold. It might have been transitioning in Louisville, Kentucky from winter to spring, but there was either frost or snow on the ground, but there was a classic 3.5 foot gray, wasn't walking, was hovering above the snow, the frost, whatever it was, because there were no indentions left. And as it's gliding away, it turns back and it looks at me like this. And it terrified the fuck out of me. And I ran back to my bed, pulled Mr. Green Jeans over my head. And apparently that's where that ended until the event in 1976, because I didn't remember it. I don't remember waking up and telling my mother, oh my God, you'll never believe what I saw. It didn't happen. So that memory came back to me in 1976, back to me that I had experienced something like that before, which is really totally and crazy bizarre. I don't care if people believe me. I really don't care. I don't care. I know what I saw. I know what my brother saw. That was the only one that wasn't witnessed. My brother witnessed the event with me in 76. And then in 2007, my mother had a stroke suddenly and unexpectedly, and she was in hospice and she was dying. And it was the world was such a better place with my mother in it. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and that's a whole other story. But when my mother was laying in hospice dying, went and visited with her. And then my brother, who's really my stepbrother, because I only have one real blood brother, but I've got two stepbrothers, Tommy and Rocky Rocchetti. And my brother, Rocky Rocchetti, I call him Reverend Rocky, because he is the most righteous guy that I know when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to knowing about Christianity. So I called Rocky up. And I said, he owned Antioch Auto Center at the time. He did auto repairs on cars. And I said, hey, Rocky, man, I know you probably don't even remember my mother and you don't know my mother, but she's dying right now up at Centennial Hospice. And I would really appreciate if you'd come and pray for her tonight with me. And he said, Joe, I'll be there. You know, actually, JoJo's what they call me. He goes, Jojo, I'll be there. Now, you got to understand, my brother Rocky looks like a superhero. He's 6'4", 245. He's a bodybuilder. He's got this head full of hair. Really good looking guy. He's 5 years younger than me. And my mother had not seen this guy since he was like a 16 or 17-year-old kid. Now, this is March 6, 2007. So my wife and I go down to hospice and waiting on Rocky to meet us there. And after 12 hours of turning wrenches on cars, like 9 o'clock at night, my brother comes down there. And he says, you know, I'm here to do it. I've got my Bible. Let's pray for your mother. Now, what they told us that my mother was brain dead, that she'd had a stroke. And here's what she looked like laying in her bed. That's what she looked like laying in a hospital bed. And so I went in there with my wife. This was March 6th, 2007. My wife, my brother Rocky, and myself. And we went in there to the hospital, into the hospice room. And of course, you know, I said, Rocky, I just want you to pray for her. I just want to make sure she goes to heaven. I know she's a Christian, but I just want to really make sure, I want to doubly make sure she goes to heaven. Can you just pray for her? And of course, I had my head laying in my mother's lap, and I was a wreck. I was apologizing for, every cross word I ever said to her, and, every mean thing I ever did that, boys do or whatever. And so Rocky was standing, I'm laying in my mother's lap. My wife is right here. And Rocky, 6'4", guy standing right above my wife with his Bible. As soon as he opens his Bible, my mother does this. Rocky, just like that. And I went, Mama, And I was bawling. She goes, don't cry, JoJo. And I was like, Mama, can you hear me? I kissed her. I said, Mama, you can. And Rocky, in his wisdom, says, JoJo, Deanie, we got to do this right now. I want to witness to you right now, Deanie, because I know you're a Christian, but Christians can still go to hell. I just want to make sure that you're going to heaven. You're going to go into the kingdom of God. And he starts witnessing to her, and he saves her soul right there. As soon as he got done, she seized up, her eyes rolled back in her head, and she's laying there. And I'm like, Mama, Mama, Mama. And I tell my wife, I said, go get a fucking doctor. I want a doctor in here right now. Now, if you guys know anything about hospice and it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night in the middle of the week, they don't have doctors. They have like an RN and a physician's assistant. So my wife had to go like a maniac running through there and find somebody to bring. So they finally got a doctor in there finally, 20 minutes later, I don't know. And the doctor said, hey, listen, your mother's dying. You're under a lot of stress. You probably just hallucinated this that just happened. Your mother didn't come out of a brain dead state. I said, let me tell you something, brother. I know exactly what I just saw. I just spoke to my mother. I just kissed her on the mouth. She just spoke to my brother. Don't tell me I imagined this. Don't tell me I hallucinated this. We are all sober as a judge, all three of us here. So you're telling me that what I just witnessed, I didn't witness. He goes, well, that's not what's important. What's important is that your mother's dying and that she's comfortable, blah, blah, bullshit. And so, yeah, we left there and I was a wreck. Well, they brought in a machine. They told me she's brain dead. She's brain dead. There's no brain activity. So we left. My wife and I were flipping a house in Reedyville, Tennessee. And the next morning at 7 o'clock, they called us and said that she had passed. Now, I tried to be at peace with it at first because I saw something that most people don't get to see. You know what I mean? And my brother Rocky got to witness to her. And I really don't care what people's religious views are or anything. And I'm not a big fan of organized religion, but I know this much, man. I know this. This ain't it. This ain't an accident. Okay. I just want the fucking truth about everything. I want the truth about everything. And don't tell me I can't handle it, because I can't handle the truth. But that's what happened to me. That's my story. That's my story. That's true. And, I don't care if I get ridiculed. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Wow.
And that's the same thing. Like, I'm not like a huge alien like I love alien stories, and I definitely believe they exist. I've dug in a little bit on it, but a lot of the stuff you said tracks with a lot of stories I've heard when it comes to the energy changes when they become in contact, and like the whole like you mentioned, you just look, in that direction, and you know why. That there's like a telepathic thing, like they'll force people to do, and they have no control over what they're doing. They're just frozen, and they're just kind of like at mercy to whatever direction or whatever they're being commanded to do. And it's always just, yeah.
Well, my brother and I weren't being commanded. Let me be clear about this. We weren't being commanded to do anything. Static electricity here to hit us. We were riding 10-speed bikes. I don't know if y'all remember the old ones from the 70s with the handlebars with little gram horns. We're riding our bikes, and we both hit our brakes because the hair on our arms and our heads was standing up. And it was not a crackling, but there was an energy you could feel. And we were just compelled to look to our right. And when we looked to the right against the horizon, the trees, there was this ginormous disc. I mean, it had to be as big as a football field. Had to be as big as a football field. But it was off in the distance, and it was silent, but you could feel something going on. And I wish they would have communicated with me. I don't know. I mean, I know this much. We don't know everything. Think the government's hiding things from us. And this ain't a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy is when 2 or more people get together to commit a crime or to plan something that's nefarious. A conspiracy theory is where it's a theory that might happen. There is no conspiracy theory about what's going on with UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, UFOs, aliens, life on other planets. The vastness of this universe is beyond anything that humans can comprehend. I know this. And it's beyond and like scientists have said, if we come in contact with extraterrestrials with advanced technology, it would be indistinguishable from us, from magic. You'd be like fucking magic. Imagine going back to the 1400s and whooping out a big ladder and going, watch this, click, and a flame comes out. You would be a god. you would be a fucking god.
Well,
are we allowed to
absolutely.
cuss on this show? I don't know. I do a lot of boxing shows, and they let us go all kind of buck wild. I don't
You
want
do-
to offend anybody.
Listen, yeah, on Fight Mixer, you can say whatever you want. We're unedited.
Cool. I don't want to offend anybody, but you know, sometimes I sound like a sailor because I was raised by one.
No,
Oh,
you're good.
yeah.
You're good. You know,
I agree with you, Joe. I think that people are completely ignorant if they don't think that there's potential life elsewhere. We are a speck of dirt in the universe in comparison to the vastness of, like you said, we cannot comprehend it. We cannot comprehend something that we know nothing about. We don't know what other life forms look like, what language they speak, what technology they have. And for people to think that that doesn't exist is just so ignorant to me that
It really is. I totally concur 100% because ignorance, you know the difference between ignorance and stupidity, right? Yes. Ignorance means you're uneducated. Stupidity means you can't learn. Well, I don't know anybody that's stupid. Everybody can learn something, but ignorance means you need to crack a book open, do some research, educate yourself before you go popping your gums about something you probably don't even know anything about anyway, have no experience with, and then you're going to go point the finger of judgment against somebody. For me, that is the epitome of ignorance.
No,
so
I totally agree.
I heard something or read something, or, you know, Carl Sagan years ago, they said something to the effect of you could take all the grains of sand on all the beaches of every place on Earth, which is really, really big, but you could take all those grains of sand and add them up, and they wouldn't equal the number of stars and star systems that are just within our Milky Way. And our Milky Way is one of those trillions and trillions of star systems that exist in the known universe. And we don't know what this universe exists of, but I do know this. Think about 1,000 years ago. It's 2022, right? Let's go back to 1022. Imagine showing them a Apache helicopter flying or a jet airplane. You would blow their mind. So imagine if there was a civilization, I don't know, maybe 1,000 years, maybe 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000 years ahead of us in evolution. Dare we say 1,000,000,000 years?
Who knows?
It would be mind-boggling, and that's why it always comes back to, I just want the truth, man. I'm on a quest for knowledge my whole life. I'm on a quest for knowledge my entire whole life. I want the truth about everything. It doesn't matter what it is. And if they think I can't handle it, that's on them. But I just want the truth. And the truth is stranger than fiction in everything I've ever researched in my whole life. I mean, what do you think about it?
So, all right. So I have a thought on this, and I usually have thoughts. So I'm sorry. I'm going to talk, guys. But one thing that baffles me is, you know, you hear people from NASA and all of these so-called experts, you know, in various different scientific fields, talking about like, well, there's no possibility that there could be life on this planet because water doesn't exist on this planet, and you know, and we know that there has to be water for, you know, water has to be present in order for life to exist,
as far as we know.
Right. And that's the whole
Exactly.
point. Like, we're talking about carbon-based life forms, right? And there's so much that we don't know. How many other life forms are there out there that we don't understand, we've never heard of, we can't even comprehend? And it's just like, I think that's a stupid argument because you don't know.
No, it's not a stupid argument. It's an ignorant argument. A stupid argument means they can't learn. Ignorant means they're uneducated. They're saying that Jupiter, you know, Jupiter has like 69 moons, right? They're saying Europa, which has a 15-mile thick ice layer on it. However, there's oxygen and there's water on Europa. You got to get 15 miles down. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Octopus and squid. There's been study done recently by research, by scientists, by NASA. They're saying that, that's for sure. Those creatures, those animals did not come from this planet. They were probably brought here by. Go ahead.
I've wondered that just because like ocean life freaks me out because their systems are so different than ours and they're so different. It's almost like they weren't from like, I don't know. I've kind of wondered a lot with species if like the Earth is just a place where they just dump a cluster of them just to see how they interact with each other. Because between insects, humans, mammals, sea life, everything, we're just so different.
It really is.
On that note, really quick,
I love that. I love that point she made, but I want to hear what you got to say. But I love that point that she made because I want to come back to it.
About the octopus, and that's exactly what I'm going to go back to. Did you see My Octopus Teacher on Netflix? Okay, so I strongly recommend that you watch.
Go watch it.
Yes, watch My Octopus Teacher on Netflix. I mean, octopi or whatever you want to call it, plural, right?
Puss and pie, I don't know.
Correct. They are prehistoric, so they have been around. They have been around since the beginning
Before the beginning.
Right. Before the beginning. The relationship that this man has with this octopus, this female octopus, is unflippin' believable. You have to watch this story. Mind-blowing. Watch My Octopus Teacher sometime this week. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to say that because
I'm down, and I concur 100% because they are super intelligent creatures. We know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the depths of our oceans on our own planet, and it kind of makes you wonder why NASA, which stands for Never a Straight Answer, why there's always like a diversion. That's what it stands for. There's always kind of like a diversion tactic. It's kind of like, no, you didn't see what you saw. Oh, look, a squirrel. You know, it's like we're so easily. Here you are on your phone. Wow, this is really deep. It's like, oh, look, a cat video, and everybody goes, next you diverse, and then you're sent down the rabbit hole. But back to the comment that you were making. Go ahead and back it up for a second. What you said right before we got to talking about the octopuses or octopi.
Oh, just about how like there's so many different kinds of creatures on this one planet that need different kinds of environments. And the ocean scares the fuck out of me. I will never take a cruise, nothing. It's just, we don't know much about it.
But I ain't swimming in the ocean, baby. I'm a pool guy.
I used to not be scared of the ocean until, so I got stung by a stingray randomly. And
whoa, how bad was it?
It sucked. I'll just tell you, it was not fun.
Really, really bad. Leg, arm, what?
No, it was so. I was in Mexico, and my daughter, who at the time was about 5 years old, and she told me she wanted to go hunting for seashells in the morning at sunrise, and that would have been 5:30, 6 a.m. And so I got up early, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Well, she didn't want to get up. And so I was like, all right, well, screw it. I'm already up. I already drank my coffee for the morning, so I'm going to go. And so I'm walking like less than knee deep in the ocean, and I'm hunting for seashells. I thought I stepped on a piece of glass is what I thought happened. And then and so I walked out onto the beach, and then like my foot started just throbbing, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm really fucked up. Like this is bad, And
I stepped on something for real.
Yeah. And I walked and I was a ways down the beach, so I walked almost a mile back to the resort, and I was delirious, and it was a crazy experience because I got back to the resort, and there was and the only thing they knew to do was like bring a lifeguard from the beach in.
Were you delirious from the venom that you got stung with?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Did your leg swell up or anything or what?
Oh yeah. No, my whole foot was like the size of a volleyball. Like it was
oh my God.
It was so,
wow.
And it hurt.
Wow.
It's the worst. I've had
volleyball?
It was bad. And I've had 2 spinal fusion surgeries in my neck. And I'm telling you right now,
this is nothing like it, right?
Oh, it was way worse. And I was freaking out. I was screaming. I was cussing. And the main issue was there was nobody there that spoke English. And I speak some Spanish, but like I was so like fucked up at the time. Like I couldn't think straight to be able to communicate with anybody. So I'm just yelling fuck over and over, and And
Okay, Matthew.
They didn't form a conga line behind you, did they?
yeah, no, but thankfully this lifeguard knew exactly what he was doing. He knew what happened to me.
The odds of getting stung by a stingray are anywhere between 1 to 5,000. I'm looking this up right now. That's what killed the crocodile hunter, right?
No, it's
Steve
super rare.
It's super rare. Right,
It's
super rare.
Yeah, but no, I stepped on this damn thing. Apparently,
You're so lucky.
Yeah, that's what they teach you down in Florida. I lived in Florida for a decade. They teach you the stingray shuffle. You walk through the sand and you shuffle your feet so you don't step on one.
Yeah. Well, but I'll never go. Not that say I won't go in the ocean, but I won't go in the ocean barefoot anymore. For that reason,
you were just knee deep. Just knee deep.
Well, what happens is, like in the morning, they come up and then they burrow right under the stand because that's where they hunt.
Right.
Stingrays, which in the stingrays, if you don't know anything about stingray, I learned a lot about stingrays after that.
I'm sure you did.
I would.
Something fucked me up like that. I know all about them, their whole family, where they came from, where they lived, the whole nine.
What they like to eat, what they don't.
My foot was swollen. It was gushing blood, and I was freaking out. And I was yelling at everyone in the hotel lobby.
Oh my goodness!
No.
And I'm like, this is your fault. Like you're liable for this, whatever. And nobody understood anything I was saying, And so, but it was wild. And I was gone for hours. And of course, I was married at the time, and we had the two little kids at the time, and so my wife, I was missing. She didn't know where I was, but I was in the infirmary at the
stingray shuffle,
and she didn't know where I was. She was like getting ready to file Mexican police report for a missing person, and then I come back in, I get wheeled in a wheelchair. But they gave me like an anti-venom and an antibiotic shot, but the only thing that helped was so if you ever get stung by a stingray, the thing that counteracts the venom is hot water. So
really?
Yeah, it was a 5-gallon bucket, and they made me put my foot in this 5-gallon bucket of nearly boiling water that burned the shit out of my skin, but it counteracted the venom. That's the only thing that helped.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
Sorry, I know that was totally off subject.
No, that was random, but it was cool, and it's kind of reminds me of Friends when Monica got stung by the stingray, but that's a different.
Don't pee on it. Don't pee on it. That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
No, I know it's not true. Vinegar, whatever. But anyway, back to Alli. Is it Alli or Alli? What? How do you pronounce it? All right, Alli. Back to what you were saying. Like all the different. If you look at just this one blue marble, this one rock hurling through space, 27,000 miles an hour in an orbit around this burning star, our sun, and we're spinning on our axis at 1,000 miles an hour. And this one rock has, I don't even know how many species of plant and animal life there are, but the diversity of life on this planet is so vast and so mind-boggling and so mind-blowing that you have to go that if this one random rock, the third rock from the sun and this little solar system within this little Milky Way within this great giant universe, if it has this much diversity of life, certainly and surely that there must be a direct correlation and representation of life throughout the entire universe. Because when you look at our planet, our beautiful blue rock, I love Earth, and the hippies had it right back in the 60s, baby, make love, not war, recycle, let's smoke a little weed, let's not fight each other, let's all just get along and get a bong. I mean, they were on point. They were on point. Yeah. And the establishment said, shut the fuck up. Buy your oil-based products until we run out of oil. But the thing is... go ahead.
I'll say that what's parallel with what you're saying is around that time, it was funny because the government told everybody, oh, don't be into aliens. Don't be into that. You're crazy. Only crazy people are into aliens. And now the attitude is if you don't believe in aliens, you are crazy and ignorant. Like,
thank you. It's called indoctrination. They spoon feed us this information in 1947 in July when the crash occurred in Roswell, New Mexico, where it was right near the only nuclear base we had on the whole country. And they were observing, and there was a crash. And the Air Force even came out and said, "Hey, we have captured a saucer and some extraterrestrials."
Yep.
And then the next day, "Oh no, we didn't. It was a weather balloon." You didn't see what you saw.
Right.
Listen to what I'm saying. Scratch it from your memory. And so what's happened is over the years, I mean, that was almost 80 years ago. And what's happened is the men and women that were threatened by Big Brother, don't you tell anybody, you don't know anything, you didn't see anything, if you just will erase your whole family. Now they're like, I'm on my deathbed, I'm 90 fucking years old, I don't give a fuck. I know what I saw. I held it in my hands, I saw it. And so that's happened a lot with a lot of these, not only people that were residents of that area, but people that were involved in the recovery mission, and then also astronauts that have gone into outer space, into outer space, which for most humans is beyond anything we can comprehend. But it just makes me look at it like this. So we've got this one rock, the solitary rock in the solar system, and this little Milky Way, and this galaxy among this great expansive universe. And on this one rock, I mean, please, if you could name every plant and animal on this planet, I think you'd be one of the smartest people on the whole planet. Because how do we even quantify everything that's on this planet? Because you talk about, oh well, we didn't even know this animal existed. Now we realize it's going extinct. We need to put it on the endangered species list. But listen, here's one of the greatest analogies, guys, and I'll leave you with this because I can sit here and go all night about this, and I don't want to bore you, and I don't want to lose my audience. I want to leave you always wanting more. But I'm going to give you an analogy that's going to blow your mind. Let's say that the great time of Earth, which is, as we know right now, about 4.5 billion years, okay, about 4.5 billion years. Let's say that 4.5 billion years was a football field, okay? Here's one goal line, here's the other goal line, okay? Everybody's familiar with a football field here, right? Everybody. So here's what you got to do to put it in perspective about how long mankind has been on this rock. Take that football field. You go from the one goal line on the other end of the field. You got to go past the 50-yard line and down to the next 40-yard line before any life appears. You go from that 40-yard line to the 20-yard line, and you have the era of the dinosaurs, which, as we all know, ended about 160 million years ago with the impact in the Yucatan Peninsula, whether it was a comet or asteroid or whatever it was. It created a massive global conflict that wiped these dinosaurs out. So that's 160 million years ago. So you got to go down to the width of a tissue paper. That's not the 1 foot yard line or the 1 inch yard line, the width of a tissue paper to the next goal line. And that's when humans appeared on this planet. And within that one little bitty small space of time, we have had such a impact, whether negative or positively. I think that it's both, but unfortunately more negative than positive, because we're such consumer-oriented, plastic and all this stuff. But that's when mankind appeared on this planet. That's when we appeared, all right? And when you compare it to the totality of all the time that has elapsed before we got here, it makes you wonder, fuck, are we even from this planet? I mean, really, think about this. If you were to be stripped down naked and put out in your woods, could you exist for a week without any help? I doubt it. But we evolved and we existed on this planet from the beginning of time. So if we evolved and existed on this planet from the beginning of time, we should be impervious to any kind of diseases, any kind of allergies, any kind of pollen, poison ivy, any of that stuff. So it really blows me away, and it makes me think, and I just want the fucking truth about everything, about what's going on in this world we live in, and what's going on in this world we're going to live in beyond this. And that's all I got to say about this. It's your favorite mental patient, man, Psycho Joe. I'm just telling you what I think, what I feel. Please don't judge me.
I'm actually like 100% like on board with that. Like I've gone over like a lot of different theories and like listened to a lot of different stuff, and like I've wondered the same thing myself. Like, were we put here, and like are the different races almost like different? Like we're from different places.
We're a giant fucking ant farm down here, and that's what I think. So if we all evolved from the same Adam and Eve, we have all evolved from the old Divide Gorge, from little Sally. I think if y'all remember when you studied 3 million years ago, here's the humanoid that became walking upright. So if we all evolved from that, why are we not all exactly the fucking same? How come we have Asians look a certain way, Africans look a certain way, Europeans look a certain way, Native Americans look a certain way, Hispanics look a certain. I mean, really, if you're really logical about it, it looks like we're a giant fucking ant farm down here. It's like, okay, survival of the fittest. Well, you know what? We're probably the greatest reality show in the universe. Everybody goes, "Hey, it's Earth. You ready to tune in? Here we go. Let's see what these crazy motherfuckers are up to."
It's essentially like we're like a Noah's Ark
on that.
I think where it gets a little hairy is people that are married to their religions, in all types of religions. If it doesn't say something in those pages, like, I don't know, I haven't read the Bible cover to cover. I don't know. I mean, obviously it says in there, in the beginning, God created X, Y, and Z, right? If we're talking about the Bible,
right.
Not talking about the Torah or the Quran. I'm just talking about the Bible. So people have been programmed to, if it's not in this book, whatever book that might be, it doesn't exist. People were not programmed and taught that it's okay to have critical thinking outside of what they've been fed, the information that they've been fed. So for so long, it was so taboo to even conceive of something other than, because people didn't want to feel weird. They didn't want to ask questions. They didn't want to be ostracized and outcasted.
And for a certain period of time, if you did ask questions or if you did criticize,
they burned you at the stake.
They'd kill
and if you didn't die, you were not a witch.
Right.
They buried you. And to add to your point, the whole thing about that is we're discouraged and we're kept from questioning things and open, honest, intellectual conversation about what's going on. We should be questioning things, and we shouldn't be ostracized, and we shouldn't be chastised, because guess what? Nobody fucking knows the truth. And if they do, they're fucking hiding it from us. And if they're hiding it from us, I want the fucking truth. I want the truth. I don't care how bad it is. I want the truth about everything. And there are 3,400 religions. 34, let me say that again. 3,400 religions on this planet. That means 3,999 of them are dreadfully wrong, and they're all going to go burn in hell because they didn't believe in Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not anti-religion, okay? I believe there's something greater than this. There's something greater. I just think that the powers that be know what it is, and they're not going to tell us. And I don't like somebody to stand here and piss in my ear and say, Joe, it's raining outside. Isn't that a beautiful rainstorm? And I'm supposed to go, oh, that's wonderful. Feed me a shit sandwich and send my compliments back to the chef and say, oh, this tastes like filet mignon. I'm an independent thinker. I'm smart enough to know that there's something beyond this. This is not a fucking accident. This ain't an accident. This is not an accident. This didn't just happen. However, to control the masses, to control the people, they've taken that and turned the belief in a higher power. They've turned the belief in something greater than our existence. They've turned it in and they've weaponized it. I say they, the powers that be, they've weaponized it, and they've made it to where we have to question every fucking thing we do and everything we say. And now, especially with the advent of social media and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and then they're trying to monitor and they're trying to censor everybody. Now we really have to go, wow, should I really say that? Because, see, I don't say anything political on Facebook anymore because I almost got banned forever. So I just post about my fighters and my fights. And I've got a lot I want to say, and I got things I want to say. And I don't want anybody to tell me that I can't say it, because I have the right to say it. You might not agree with it. You might not agree with it. And you know what? I would humbly humbly request your counterpoint to my point. But now it's gotten to where everything's adversarial. And if I don't agree with you and you don't agree with me, then you're either a fucking racist or you're a fucking anti-government supremacist. And me personally, I'm kind of tired of it happening. I just want a sharing of knowledge. If we got everybody at the same time on the same level, where we're all on the same plane, and believe me, it is all about energy. It's all about energy, about a vibration, a vibe. Like, I live in Middle Tennessee, but I lived in Florida for a decade, okay? It's where I met my wife 25 years ago. Greatest thing ever happened to me. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I got this wonderful woman that loves me and believes in me. So when we go back down there, whether we're flying or driving, as soon as we go into Florida, I can feel that different vibe. I feel the different vibe, the different vibration. And everything's on a vibration, just like I'm trying to learn the guitar. Hardest thing I've ever tried to learn to do. Once you stroke those chords, that's a vibration. And everything that I'm saying right now coming out of my voice box is a vibration that you're hearing in your ears, and the colloquia is a vibration, and it's being translated into your brain. So everything is on a vibration. And this universe that we're in is so complex, so amazing, so fascinating for me. I just don't want to have to die to find out the truth of everything. I don't want to have to die to do that. I want to know it now while I'm still alive.
Joe, as you were talking, not to interrupt you, but
no, please.
You can't see my screen, but I just got a Twitter notification that came across my screen. And as you're talking about that, I thought, whether you like Elon Musk or not, what he's doing for humanity is giving that. I love it. I think he's my hero, giving everyone that platform to say whatever they want, free of censorship, free of being canceled. And to your point, so many people will be given that opportunity to say their truth and not be canceled for it, and to have dialogue for all these different opinions that are going on right now. So I think that's going to be good for humanity, for sure.
Absolutely, 1,000%. And the thing is, when we stop having intelligent dialogue amongst one another, when people get brave and become keyboard warriors and they want to talk shit there's a whole generation coming up, and I feel bad for them, that don't know how to interact with people face to face. I own Rock Solid Combat Sports, okay? I work in bare knuckle fighting and pro boxing, but what pays the bills for me is my Rock Solid roofing and McEwen Home Improvements that I run here just outside of Nashville. But when we're talking about what you're talking about, which is everybody getting on the same, we need to get everybody on the same plane, everybody on the same level. There's no separation. When you keep them separated, you keep people weak. And I say it all the time, man, especially with my crews that work for me, man. There's only one race on this planet. It's called the human race, and anything else is separation. Anything else is trying to trick us, fool us, bamboozle us. They're trying to make us hate each other because they know if we all get on the same page, oh my God, the powers that be that run the world now, they're done. Our founding fathers are rolling over in their graves, not to get political, and I'm not going to get political because I want to stay with the supernatural, what we're talking about. But this all ties in together because it all comes back to the vibration. It all comes back to the sensation. It all comes back to everything. If you look at our solar system, everything is like a circle. Our planet's round, the other planets are round. Our orbits are somewhat round, a little bit elliptical, because we have the little bit of variation and our planet's planes, but pretty much it's a circle. So that's where what goes around comes around. And when it comes around, it picks up speed like a Mike Tyson punch. Ask that kid on the airplane that wouldn't leave him alone and what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
I love Mike Tyson, by the way. That's my boy.
Too, man.
He's my hero too. I love Mike.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. Why would you do that to Mike Tyson? I'm not expecting him to do something to you.
You either got to be stupid or you got to be looking for 15 minutes of fame and just baiting the guy.
Both, brother. Both.
Right.
Both. Yeah, you're right.
Psycho Joe, thank you, man. Thank you for giving us your
This
insight.
was really great. Thank you for coming on.
I want to come on again because I love talking with y'all because this feels like a safe space where I can just say what I'm going to say. And hey, if I'm going to get ridiculed about it, don't give a fuck. Really don't. This
I love
happened.
you.
1967 happened. 1976 happened. 2007 happened. I know what I saw. I know what I saw. I know what happened. I know what I feel inside my soul. And I know that moving forward, I just want us all to be like, fuck, let's just know Don Cornelius, man, peace and love, baby. Let's just all get along.
Agreed.
One thing that I think is very interesting. So, like, you know how TikTok figures out your algorithms and only shows you videos that is directed towards everything you like. Joe is the human embodiment.
Baby. I don't even have TikTok. I only got on Facebook in 2019 because I didn't want to do it because I told my wife social media is a fucking trap. But I'm on social media with Facebook. But I got to get Instagram, but I don't have Instagram or TikTok. But TikTok has an algorithm that does what?
It figures out what you like, and it only shows you videos of things that it knows you like. So everyone's TikTok when they open it up is custom to them. So I have some friends when they open up TikTok, they see dance videos all the time, or really cute things, or animal things, or crafting things. When I open TikTok, it is nothing but alien conspiracy theories, spiritual stuff, all that stuff. So it's
you better hit me up on Facebook then. I don't got Instagram. Better hit me up on Facebook. Joe Max, Psycho Joe.
Do it.
As you're talking, it's just, to me, it's oh my God, he is my TikTok. As a person, every subject he hits is stuff that I only get videos about.
That's so great.
I'm down with it. But man, listen, you guys got a great format. We love the triple play tonight. It was great. It was fantastic. So let's keep this thing rolling. Anything I can do to help you guys out, hit me up. We'd love to be back. We'd love to talk about all things supernatural, UFOs, aliens, or whatever you got. But we're here for
Bare Knuckle too, because you got a couple of fighters that we need to get on the program.
My man, we got Gabriel Fryer, Gabriel Warrior of God Fryer. Let me tell you something about this guy. I sent you some pictures, I think. If you don't have him, go to my page, you'll see him. This guy's got a physique. I said, Gabriel, if the fighting thing don't work out, let's just get you an underwear modeling thing because his physique is so stupid.
I know Gabriel. Isn't he wasn't he a BYB fighter?
He still is.
I know Gabriel. I've interviewed Gabriel several times.
That's my 150. We're currently in negotiations right now for a world title fight for him. Then I've got Mattia, the Italian Knuckles, Fonda, his first fight at BYB 9 was against Alan Ariza, and we were brought in to be the opponent. And my boy Mattia, the Italian Knuckles, Fonda, he knocked him out in 2 rounds, and it was a bloodbath, though. It was a bloodbath. All you got to do is go to BYB Extreme Fighting Series on YouTube, subscribe for free, watch for free. You can see all the previous fights. You can watch all the future fights. Our next fight's coming up right now, May 28th in Biloxi, Mississippi. It's BYB 10. Mattia Fonda is fighting an undefeated boxer. His name is Robert Serna, and he's a very talented fighter, but he's going to walk into a buzzsaw against my boy Mattia Fonda. We're going to bust him up and we're going to take him out because we're on a title march. And we're right now currently in negotiations for a world title fight for Gabriel Fryer. But the bare knuckle fighting, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because the bare knuckle fighting, my boy Gabriel Fryer, Warrior of God, the most godly man besides my brother, Reverend Rocky, that I know. And I have nothing but love for him. And I hope you don't, Gabriel, I know you're probably watching, so don't think I'm being blasphemous, brother. I'm not being blasphemous. God gave me this brain to think with, and I'm thinking with it, so I'm not going to suppress it. So don't think I'm being blasphemous and undermining things. I'm asking questions, and I want answers to the questions that I have, and that's all I ask. But yes, Gabriel Fryer, Mattia Fonda, we're coming for all those belts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I really believe it. I believe so again, I talk, but Gabriel's really impressive.
Who?
Really impressive.
Sure.
And
Such a talented athlete.
he's a combat veteran, if I'm not mistaken. Is
He
that
sure
correct?
is. He was a paratrooper. He played rugby at Marshall. He played football at Pikeville University.
Wow.
He's been doing martial arts. He started in karate when he was 5 years old or 4 years old. He did kickboxing, boxing. The kid is such a phenomenal athlete, and he's a natural athlete, and he's so humble. He's such a humble guy.
Yeah.
And he's got a little mini me. He's got Elijah Fryer, looks just like him. And so Elijah just turned 5. And so he goes, so I guess it begins. My boy walked up to me today and says, Daddy, teach me to box.
There you go.
And so then a week later he goes, okay, yeah, so I'm sick of him because he's on this bro kick. He goes, no, bruh, not today, bro. I'm like, oh, that's really cool because if you go to Gabriel Fryer's, and it's Freyre, Gabriel Fryer, you'll see his handsome son looks just like him. Mini me.
Well, we can't wait. I know. At least I can't wait. I love watching
Mhm.
Gabriel perform, and I was really impressed by Mattia Fonda as well in his last fight. And thank you so much, Joe, for coming on. This was awesome. I appreciate
Anytime,
it.
baby. Anytime.
And thank you, Janine and Matt, for hopping on and joining me.
Anytime. Oh my God, this is so much fun.
Anytime.
It's cool. We get to do a crossover show.
It is fun. So you got to jump on my show sometime, Alli and Janine.
Mhm.
There's the boss. He's telling us to shut up.
I'm not the fucking boss. Calm down. Calm your tits. That was probably the best interview I've seen. Like, holy shit, that guy.
I love
that
his
guy-
energy.
Joe has stories for days.
He's
Well,
amazing.
I was
energy.
He's amazing.
I was watching. I'm like, holy shit! Like, one of the best interviews on the show. Just saying.
He makes
Like,
David look shy.
fucking awesome. Wow.
It was great. It was great. So now one thing though, before we close out here,
Yes.
his telling of his UFO story reminded me that I actually have a personal experience myself.
You like suppressed it?
I have one.
Not really. Not really, but I just never really talked about it. I think for just fear of ridicule and whatever. But I did report it to MUFON. If you're, and I'm sure Alli, you know MUFON. No, but it's like if you're gonna report some UFO shit, you report to MUFON.
Oh.
And I don't even know what the acronym stands for, but it's like it's an independent UFO research society.
Was there like a 1-800 number you had to call, or like how'd you report it?
UFO Network.
What is it?
Hey, baby, MUFON stands for Mutual UFO Network.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm very familiar with those guys.
Okay, so I reported an experience to MUFON because I saw some weird shit.
Tell your story. Tell your story right now, Matthew.
Right now? Okay. Do we have time, David? Are we good?
Yes. We got all kind of time.
So,
Fuck
okay.
yeah.
We got all the time in the world.
All right. So in my previous career, I worked in the corporate world, and I was coming home. I'd gotten off work a little bit early. It was about 4:00 in the afternoon, and I was driving down my street. And as I was driving down my street, I noticed something in the, I guess it would in the western sky, and it was really weird. And it was a speck when I first saw it, and I was driving, and the speed limit on my street is 25 miles an hour. So I was driving, and so I was probably driving maybe 15 because I saw this and it caught my attention. And so I was coming home, and it normally takes me, 2-3 minutes to drive down my street. I took 10 minutes at least because I was driving so slow. I was like riding my brakes, and I live at the bottom of a hill. And I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, but it, for whatever reason, my eyeballs were just captivated on this thing. I'm like, what the hell is that? And it was moving. It seemed slow, but I'm sure it was probably fast. But it was the lack of deviation in the path of this flying object that caught my attention. It didn't change. It was like it was on on a plane.
Was it, Matthew? Was it bright, or was it like high, or was it on the horizon?
It was black. It was jet black, and it was cylindrical. It was
Oh shit! So it wasn't even dark out yet. It was still daylight out.
No, you're talking in the middle. This is the middle of the afternoon.
Oh man, come on now, come on,
yeah.
Cylindrical, right? Like a cigar,
like your classic cigar-shaped UFO, essentially. And I couldn't tell how big it was because I didn't know how far away it was. I didn't have any, because there was not a cloud in the sky. I didn't have a point of reference, right? And so, but as I keep coming down the street, it's getting closer and it's getting closer, and it's I would say it's so it's traveling southwest from me, and I'm looking at it, and it was a sunny day. Again, sunny day, not a cloud in the sky, and I was watching this thing, and it kept getting closer to me, and it was I would say, and I've tried to do the calculation, based on the doing the geometry, like based on
the trigonometry and figuring distance
whatever.
and time.
I tried to calculate it, so I feel like it was about 250 feet above the ground.
All right,
and it seemed slow. I'm sure it wasn't slow, but in an open sky, when you're watching something just float across the sky,
it's very slow. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was really fast, but it seemed really slow. But I followed this whole thing, and I was afraid I was going to wreck, even going 5 miles an hour, because I'm just like watching this thing. And then I pulled into my driveway, and I rolled all my windows down in my vehicle, and I'm just like looking at this thing, and it felt like I was watching it for about 10 minutes, and I watched it till it was completely out of sight. It didn't make a single sound. And it was low enough to the ground where if it was a drone or if it was whatever, a helicopter or whatever, even a drone makes a sound, right? But I've never been so captivated by something in my entire life, like where I could not take my eyes off of whatever this was.
You were compelled to look at it, and you couldn't even make yourself not look at it, right?
I couldn't not look at it, and I couldn't. It's almost like I was not like physically paralyzed, but mentally paralyzed. I was just like, just looking at it. But then and it felt like about the whole process from starting at the top of the hill at my road down to the bottom, it felt like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. When I went inside the house, almost 2 hours had elapsed.
Oh my God, you got missing time, man. Holy shit.
And
wow.
Yeah, and
this is serious, man. How'd your butthole feel? Did you get an anal probe? I'm kidding.
Fine.
I'm teasing.
Did you get a rash? That sometimes happens.
No, nothing happened. Nothing happened. And the thing is, I remember everything.
Matthew, so it felt like 10 or 15 minutes, and you got inside. It was 2.5 fucking hours.
No, maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Listen, an hour after 10 or 15 minutes. That's crazy. That's really not crazy. That's astounding, because that's missing time, and that's a very common thing with UFO encounters.
It is, but at the same time, like, I remember every moment, and I don't ever remember not taking my eyes off of it. And I watched it until it was so far away that it was completely out of sight.
Wow, man.
Wow.
So, but
that's very compelling, brother.
It was really weird. I've never, outside of my family, I don't think I've ever shared that with anyone. Just because
you should look into it, because some of the stuff I've seen, that there's like long-lasting effects that happen to people after they've encountered seeing aliens or UFOs and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know what it was. And it may have been totally terrestrial. I don't know. I just and again, I guess you call it a UFO because it's unidentified. And I'm not saying that it was an alien, because I don't know that for a fact. I just know that I don't know what it was, and it's not like anything I've ever seen before. And it was a really strange experience. And after that entire experience, I felt compelled. I'm like, I have to tell somebody about this that knows more about this than me.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
So I feel like you should believe your gut.
I felt like it was really weird, and I needed to tell somebody. And
there was something definitely in your gut. So, like, how did it feel that the aliens clapped your ginger cheeks? Like, how did it feel? Like,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they probably liked it.
Do you think they used you like a breeding horse?
Probably. I mean, I'd be a good specimen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is gay.
What the fuck is that? I was like,
I don't know what
my
that was.
God.
Yeah.
Maybe. Matt, maybe you got some weird little human alien half breed like running around that they used your specimen for. They have
Alli, see, this is what they do. Laugh at it, ridicule it, make fun of it, and everybody goes, oh, I don't want to talk about that no more. No, man, what this guy experienced is classical missing time. I never stopped making eye contact with what I was seeing. It only felt like 10 or 15 minutes, but it felt like I was moving in slow motion. I get back to my house, and an hour and a half or 2 hours had elapsed.
That's like the movie Contact with Jodie Foster, where
I haven't seen that. Is that good?
Oh,
is that
yeah,
good?
it's back from the 90s, but she
I know it is.
falls, and she was supposed to have fallen for like a minute, and she was gone for 15 hours. Like time.
Holy shit!
So it was interesting. Yeah, you should watch that. Contact, Jodie Foster.
But yeah,
I'll check it out. Thank you for the heads up.
But that's what happened. That's my story. I've never shared that with anybody. But it is what it is, and I know we got time, but
Yeah. So final thoughts. I'm gonna go around the room, but final thoughts for Psycho Joe Mack, and one of the best interviews I've fucking seen ever. Like, holy shit! And I know you were still in the waiting room, but I was watching like compelled the entire fucking time. Like, Jesus Christ, this is some good shit. So thank you so much for coming. Final thoughts from Psycho Joe Mack.
Well, final thoughts are this, man. I just want the fucking truth. We're not being told the truth. We live on this big, beautiful rock. We're all the same species, man. It's the human race. There is no racism. There is no hate. We all love one another. We need to do what the hippies said back in the 60s and make love, not war. But let's figure out what's going on. Let's get the truth to make everything happen. And let's share the truth with everybody. And let's all be happy, because all this stress and bullshit that we worried about, 80% of it never comes to fruition. That's my say. That's what I got to say, and I'll be back here to say it again.
And we'll be happy to have you back.
Yeah, you
anytime,
will.
my
You
friend.
will. Yes.
Janine, final thoughts.
I want to be abducted by aliens and live to tell about it. I think that would be amazing.
I'm with you, baby.
Final thoughts from Alli, the host of Strange Pie, who allowed us hooligans to come on.
I'm just so grateful that everybody got joined tonight. This is really awesome. And Joe, you will be coming on again because there's so much more stuff I want to talk to you about.
And final thoughts from the host of Bare Knuckle Insiders, who got his ginger cheeks clapped by alien life forms, Mr. Matthew.
Thank you, everybody. This was a lot of fun. I love y'all. Let's do it again sometime.
Fuck yeah. So Wednesday we have a Janine show, which I can't wait for. Skulls and Stilettos. And next Sunday will be another block. Can't wait for it. From all of us at Fight Mixer, we thank you so much for tuning in. Go on fightmixer.com for news, for shirts, for Matthew, and more content about him getting his alien teeth clapped. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. From the Fight Mixer, we'll see you next week. Peace.